Welcome to TTBoy TV. We are here with a very interesting person. Right? This guy is a straight up hustler. He is a director, a producer, an editor, and a good guy. He's traveled the world, and we want to hear what he's got to say. Please welcome and thank you for coming, Bishop.
Thank you. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
I appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Of course.
How you been?
I've been good. Keeping busy here and there. But yeah, I've been good. No complaints.
Yeah. See, how long has it been since we've seen each other?
I want to say like 2.5 years. I can't tell you where I saw you last. It wasn't at your office, was it?
I don't know. Maybe.
No. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. How's a little Russian chick? What's her name? Your head production.
Oh, yeah. She's good.
Yeah. What's her name? I miss her, dude.
Yeah.
She used to bust my balls so hard.
Yeah, she's great.
I like that. Yeah, she's.
Yeah, how do you find somebody that good? It's hard.
It is hard. It's hard. You had a pretty good staff.
Yeah.
I think. People went hard for you because you know when you come around you're a hard goer. So if you're soft, you're not gonna make it. You gotta be hard. I think that's why we work good because we work hard. You know?
Yeah. You work hard. Yeah. A lot of people got mad at me for pushing them. You know, really, truthfully.
No, you pushed me as well. I still use some of the techniques and some of the, not so much the techniques, but some of the emphasis, some of the drive. And I like that. Like, I think that makes a great, you have a great coach, you're going to have a good team. And I watch you coach. And yeah, you're hard, but if you're weak, this isn't even a business to be in. You're probably in the wrong state. This state, it costs so much to live here. You have to be on your A game to survive. If you're not working and pushing yourself, you got to go to fucking, I don't know, Iowa or fucking, you know what I'm saying, Nebraska, because this state, it's just too expensive to be.
Right. Well, at least in Los Angeles County.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. That's best.
Outside, maybe Barstow.
You can fuck off. You can come to work drunk and make it.
Yeah,
or not even show up half the time.
You're going to get hot here and there. It's hot as hell.
You're right.
Yeah. Mojave Desert, but But you're right. Yeah. The thing is, when I had my company, I was trained not to make slop. I really tried hard to make the best material I could make.
I believe you.
It's not always easy, and that's what people don't understand. A lot of them just think porno is just porno, blah, blah, blah. But man, if you knew the hours I spent in my editing room and the hours I spent on set, through 30 years, I started in 89. I have over 30 years in the business. And some people would say, oh yeah, porno's porno, or some people would think, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But man, before I got in porno, I was watching porno a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I was a person who loved to see the girls and those camera shots. All that stuff was very important to me to have it the right way. When I watch a movie that was shot the wrong way, or the sex, and I can't jack off to it,
disappointing.
Fuck, it makes you mad.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I emphasized, or I really put into my mentality, is to make sure that those shots that I made or had in my movies, you could see clearly, especially in Doggy. You know what I mean? In Doggy, when nobody's you got to open a cheeks up.
I know your
get
whole...
the light in.
Yeah, I know.
That way you can see everything. I really focused on that because I couldn't watch these movies. And so many people got away with selling junk. They didn't know what they were doing. But then I trained all these people, my cousin, one of them, and they think, oh, no, I knew it. No, you didn't know shit. I had all these years of information. But anyways, this shows about you. I want to know Bishop, you know what I mean? So I know, man, you are a person who doesn't like to sit around.
Correct.
Right?
I like to keep busy for sure, yeah.
What are you doing right now?
Mainstream.
Yeah?
So I'm doing a lot of music videos. I just did Bishop's Mona Lisa. It's on YouTube.
I saw that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was nice.
Thanks. I've been on YouTube for years.
Yeah.
And but this was my first showcase video. Most of my work on YouTube was primarily screener work. So if you hired me and commissioned me to do a project, I would shoot it and give you a rough edit and send you a YouTube link So on YouTube, there's a lot of videos that I have, but as far as showcasing work, it was that Bishop's Mona Lisa, which is a Kendrick Lamar, Lil Wayne song off the Carter 5 album. It was just a song. I was inspired, decided to produce, write the pieces around their lyrics, and hired talent that looked like Lil Wayne and Kendrick Lamar, and put together a little short film just based off of the song.
You just spent your own money doing it?
Just for fun, yeah. I wanted to, you get hired a lot to work on other people's shit. And when I say shit, I mean literally, because they think it's the Holy Grail, and you're going, this ain't the Holy Grail.
See,
I see a lot of stuff that, they want me to invest my interest as if it was my project. And so this allowed me to not compromise. This allowed me to make what I wanted to make under, what I felt was the best direction. So I did. And I like it. It came out well. A lot of people like it. And, we're up to like 6,000, 7,000 views, and we're just trying to climb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how much did you spend on it?
Spent a lot of money.
Really? How much?
Probably like $5,000 total.
Just for
the fuck of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I hope it does.
Actually, I know I spent more than that, but I'm being conservative. But I did spend a good chunk of money.
Wow.
Yeah. I had snakes in the video. I had rats, and I had to hire a team to wrangle those snakes and rats while filming. I hired the Iney's house, or that was very expensive. I was there for like
Encino House?
6 days. Yeah. So I paid all my talent. I'm not one of the directors that go, hey, you'll like this. Put this on your reel, and I'll buy you a slice of pizza when it's all done. I pay you every time you show out. Yeah. The Mona Lisa. When I bought that painting that's in the video because I couldn't rent it.
Is that the real Mona Lisa?
No, not.
Oh. Not the real one, but the real
It's a replica, and it's very, very expensive. It's almost to model. It's almost to scale.
Oh, yeah?
It's a little bit larger than the original, but what I wanted to. When I was telling people how much this thing was going to cost, they said, "Why don't you just go online, to Amazon, and get the poster?" And then I would show them a picture of that picture on my phone to show them, like, this is why. And they look at it and they're like, oh yeah, you got to get that. And I knew the shot was like 2 seconds, but fuck it. It was, to me, I don't have any regrets.
I don't think most people understand the time and the cost of making a film or a piece of film, you know what I mean? Or a video or a movie, a real movie, even adult movie. I don't think they understand how long it takes and how much pain there is and how much money goes out the door on little shots.
Nobody knows.
No.
The people that make the films, we know, but they don't know.
Yeah. So you do mainstream. So this is more of an adult show, but I like to know which genre or which side, because we're actually, like if you ever watched the Mark Wahlberg show, what was that one show called? Entourage.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You had Hollywood, right? Mostly Hollywood and LA. And that was Hollywood. That was their mainstream. And then you flip over to the other side, go up the hill into the valley, and you're in a porno, right?
Yeah.
It was a trip, right? You got two sides to the coin, right? Trippy, right? So everything, people don't know that, San Fernando Valley, for so many years, and maybe still is, was the porn capital of the world. Not just America, the fucking world. So much porn was shot in San Fernando Valley, it would make your head spin. You know what I mean?
No, it was crazy. Yeah.
So what do you like better, mainstream or porn?
You know what? That's a good question. What I do like is creative freedom. That's what I learned. And what I got out of adult was that. When I first started, I didn't have work to show. So they had to hold my hand. And to be honest, like, I go to an interview with West Coast. And so they're like, hey.
That was your first interview?
No, my first one, I'd already, I think I started with Seymour Butts first.
Wow, really?
I started with Seymour first.
I didn't know that. That's way back.
Yes, way back. Seymour Butt.
Guess who's coming on the show next Friday?
Not Seymour. Yeah, because you probably don't like him.
No, I like him. He's
you
cool.
like Seymour?
Yeah, we're cool.
Adam? Okay. So
no, Shane.
Shane. Oh.
She's amazing,
She
right?
is awesome. what is, well, I guess that's a whole nother show. But I'd love to know what Shane's up to.
Right?
Yeah.
So she said she'll be here, so hopefully she'll show. She's cool.
Yeah, she's cool. Yeah. That's his squeeze at one point.
Yeah.
I didn't meet her through him. You know? I'd met her, but I didn't work with her like in that capacity.
Right, she was cool. Yeah. I worked with her, a couple scenes.
That's cool. Yeah.
I think we had a little fling off camera one time, maybe.
Oh shit!
I don't know. I think so. Up in Mammoth or something.
Oh yeah.
Like one of the Mammoth trips, you know what I mean? Whatever, snow trip. But
for her thing, because she shot.
I don't know.
Mammoth.
It might have been for hers.
And I know she was making a comeback a few times, and then she sold her shit, and then worked for some other people.
Really?
Yeah. She was gonna start her own shit back again, and I don't know where that all went.
She was when you talk to her. This is about you, so real quick. When you talk to her, she gives you energy. Like she's a little bit of a beacon of light, It's a trip. Yeah. Really. You meet somebody and you talk to them and you can feel nothing, or you can feel like, oh shit, I can feel this person's energy, you know what I mean? I got to move on. Right? But when you feel her, you feel like you want to hug her or kiss her or... just be friends with her. She's got something. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's why the people loved her so much. She has something special.
I thought she was special. I mean, I was obvious because she did, she worked. Yeah. Adam came up on a few women that, hung out. Alicia Clash,
Tara?
The mother of his son.
Yeah. I work with her. But Shane's...
I thought she was badass, the one you're talking about, Tara.
Yeah, she was pretty, but... I like Shane.
Shane's more the girl next door.
The other girl was cool. But anyways.
No, let's talk shit. Fuck that bitch.
No, she was nice to me.
I know, I'm playing.
I worked with her once or twice. And she was sexy, but, sometimes the chemistry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You feel chemistry.
Chemistry is every fucking thing, man.
You can have the prettiest girl with no chemistry.
You can't tell that to civilians. You see a civilian, he goes, oh, that bitch is bad. And I go, her pussy's probably just as good as that girl's pussy. Oh, no way, it's all chemistry. When you get together, it doesn't, looks don't play a part.
I have to object on that.
Oh, okay, cool. I want to hear you.
With the recourse, with the, defense, that's true. It's a big deal, chemistry.
Right, okay.
But quality of the goods is still supersedes that.
Okay. For me, it's chemistry and then quality.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because if I connect, man, that's all I need right there.
I mean, if you don't connect, but I still like quality. I'm not saying just because the girl's pretty don't mean it's quality.
Correct.
No.
Correct.
That's a misconception.
Yeah.
If the girl's got the quality goods, that's a whole different world, Then that's how I connect, usually.
Have you been on, I know, I don't even need to ask this, but you've been on set, you've been shooting, and you go, cut, and the chick jumps out of the bed and goes, I'm gonna go get some water. How much longer are we gonna be here? I'm gonna call my boyfriend. Like really just not knowing how this whole thing works mentally. She just disengages and she's just, and then she comes back from the water. You're still shooting, but you're on a break, you're down, and she's not gonna get back into bed until your action. So the guy's sitting there going, all right, then I guess we'll just, so the chemistry is critical. Like
for the scene,
Nat Turner, he was great at that. He was fucking the girls with his eyes before they even got in the room, like before we got into the scene. So if I had 3 girls and 3 guys, he already knew who he was fucking. She knew who she was fucking, and they were like a couple before we rolled cameras.
I don't know if Nat Turner counts.
He's good at that. I'm just saying was a strong part. Was really good.
I think that on average, he's a better looking guy than most of the guys, right? And he's
Correct.
Smooth. He's just like a killer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A woman killer, kind of, you know what I mean? So he probably got away with murder, just, hey girl, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he counts, but he doesn't count.
Because of the looks.
Yeah, because he's, all the girls love him.
But he's
getting chemistry.
He has the eye fuck thing. Like, really good. Yeah. I remember one time running into him in Vegas with my girl.
You were like this, don't look at me.
I'm with my girl at the time, and she's straight civilian, and I'm going through to get awards. I'm signing autographs. I'm like walking through, and I run up on him, and he's fucking her. Like as soon as I'm like, what's up, dog?
like that.
He's fucking her. Like literally, he's down on her. I'm like, yo, wait, time out, dude. Okay, so this one here, he can't fuck. Or this one he can't fuck. But he was good for that, dude. He was good. Yeah.
No, I mean,
After
the girls loved him.
set, yeah, he's going home with them.
Does he? Yeah.
He falls in love, which is great. Because I think.
Does he? I didn't know that, yeah.
Yeah, he does. And
That's
they
cool.
fall in love back. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, the girls love
I've taken him, dude, I took him out of state to shoot for you.
Oh, yeah?
I took him one time.
Yeah?
The pregnant chick thing.
Oh, yeah?
Can I say that? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Going to hell. But yeah, Sacramento, him and I in a little fucking, riding in the middle of the night, pulling into the hotel. Yeah, me and
He's a
him
cool dude.
woke up and did his thing, and we shot a few other scenes. And
He's a very nice person. I kind of compare him a little bit, even though this person is a super killer. But Nat Turner was a killer, but Mark Davis in his prime, the girls couldn't even look at him.
You're talking about the long-haired Mark Davis, the long hair?
No, he never.
Oh,
had
the
long-
bald. Oh yeah, he did. He had long, like girly hair, like down. He had.
No.
Yeah, he did. Mark Davis.
No,
yeah,
never.
and he shot for Adam a lot.
No.
Yeah, I know you took Mark Davis
No,
with the accent. Yeah.
No, he never
I
had
shot
long
Mark a billion times. I know Mark. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
He had long hair, like
That-
rock and roll fucking.
no way. I'm gonna have to put $1 on that.
Oh, that's cool. I'll put $1 on
I'll
that.
call him.
Yeah, he'll send you a picture if he's around. It's
Really?
stupid. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna lose $1.
Yeah, you got.
But
right.
the girls
Loved him. Yeah.
in the early days, please.
His accent, he's 6'3".
He's 6'2" and a half. He's straight.
And he
He's
loves
a model.
to fuck. Yeah, and he's
a good performer.
Yeah, and he gives all, and he does it all, and
Yeah.
he's sucking the toes while he's
And
fucking.
he loves the girls
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
They loved him back. I mean, that was my competition.
Was
I
him?
mean, yeah. I mean, he couldn't keep up with me because
Yeah, I was about to say your
insane.
performance was a little more intense.
Yeah, but-
he's a good overall. I
He's
think.
good, yeah.
Overall, he's like a Holyfield in the sheets. You're like a Tyson. Is that right? Come here,
Yeah.
give me that. That
Thank
was
you,
fucking
thank
right
you.
on money. Yeah.
But I didn't fall. I stayed strong.
But you bit the ears though, man.
But Mark, basically I'm saying the competition because you always want the girls to love you, right?
Of course.
And they loving him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was on my show.
Oh, he was here?
Yeah, he was here
He's
about.
here in LA. He's back.
Yeah, no, he's
that's
here.
cool.
Yeah, he's in Santa Monica.
Oh, that's good.
But he was,
What the fuck is he doing?
He's just retired.
Yeah.
Enjoying his life.
Everyone has to retire. You have to. You gotta enjoy it. Forced retirement. Where's my pension? Who do I talk to?
But he's interesting. His show's interesting. His story's interesting. Very
oh, no.
interesting.
Yes. No, his shit is off the chain.
Yeah, if you hear,
I shot him in a feature film called,
Really?
yeah, A Porn Star is Born. He's my lead male.
Really?
It's a mainstream and an adult film. A Porn Star is Born. It won a lot of awards, like 12 awards. Yeah. Google it, A Porn Star is Born.
Really? Wow.
It's distributed by Green Apple. I did it back a while ago, but Aliana Love is in there. It's all Mr. Marcus. It's all star-studded. Jada Fire's in there. Tyler Knight. There's a lot of cats in there.
Nice people.
Ron Jeremy. He's not doing the scene. He's a performer. He's
Ron was here.
Huh?
Ron was here.
What?
Yeah. We go back. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know.
Did he knows you? Like, because he kind of forgets a lot.
Of course he knows me. Yeah. I mean, I've known Ron since '89.
Yeah.
We worked together numerous times, but yeah, right. I know what you're saying, but he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's go back. So what do you like better, mainstream or adult?
I like being creative. So to me, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm a pervert inside, but if you let me do what the fuck I want to do, I don't really care. Like, for me, I don't really care. I would say mainstream over adult.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what triggered me up in a lot of my movies was that I had to stop and do sex. And I was in a creative space, and I get going all this pre-set up, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta shoot sex. That was my thinking. I've even had fans write me. I was on a radio show years ago for a movie I did called Ransom for West Coast. And one of the fans called in and says, hey, if it wasn't, he said the sex fucked up the movie. He said the movie was great. The sex just killed it for him. And he's a porn, like, that's what he watched. But that's what he said. And I've had other people say, man, the sex, yeah. Even when I did some work for Wicked, the chick who screens all the movies at Wicked, told me she almost cried.
Really?
Yep. She said this reminded her of a Hallmark movie. I did a movie for them called She's the One. And it was a love story, and she loved it.
So then you're...
I like telling, I'm a storyteller, and so if you give me 2 bits and a piece of bread, I'll make a story out of it, and that's what I do. I love telling stories. I can tell a story on a dime, and I'll put a full beginning, middle, and end, and I get off on that. Like, if, yeah. That was my claim to fame. I wouldn't be here now. You wouldn't know me if I never did Ransom. Nobody would have known me, because they were just commissioning me to do... You were one of the only other ones. No, not even Smash. West Coast was the first and the main one who just said, I was doing something for Black Ice, and they wanted me to shoot Roxy Reynolds and Rico, and I did. And this was around the AVN time, so it was around this January of whatever year. And they said, hey.
I would think that's around 2007.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I looked at Ransom.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I checked it out.
Yeah.
I checked out any of the competitions sometimes when you hear something, so I check them out. So, I checked it out.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, thanks. So I shot that for Black Ice, and that was her contract girl. So I sent in the...
Roxy was?
Reynolds was Black Ice contract.
Wow, really?
And so they go, we don't want this scene because there's a story. We just wanted you to shoot tease and fuck. And I go, well, I got that too. So I gave them that. But then I also had the scene that I shot with her and they didn't want. So I took it to West Coast, and James is in his office, James, the owner of West Coast, and
James Alexander.
He saw 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and he yells, Keisha, get my checkbook. And he goes, how much for this? And I go, just that? He said, yeah, I want this scene. He goes, I want a movie. Can you do a movie? And I go, of course I could do a movie. Never done a fucking feature film like that. And he goes, I go, I don't know. I have no idea. He goes, would 20 get you started? I go, yeah, 20 will get me started. Keep in mind, I came down there to just drop off a scene. I didn't know I was gonna come home with a $20,000 check. So I go, cool. I come home, I go in my room. I have a post-production going on. So we're editing for half of the Valley in my office, in my home. Like I have another room underneath my house.
Yeah, I want to get to all that for sure.
They're all editing, and I take my main dude, Roy. I go, Roy, I got to make a movie. Like they want me to make 4 other scenes and a story around that. So I wrote from Rico and chasing this girl around, turning on the lights and hiding her in the closet. And that's how Ransom was born. So I remember that same day sitting in my room looking over that view.
Box Canyon?
Yeah, typing. And just writing a script. And I'd never written like a full script in Microsoft Word. And that was how Ransom had started. There's a long story that goes on behind that, but that's how I got Ransom going. And then winning awards off of that, and then Warner Brothers wanting to buy Ransom. No.
Come on.
No.
Really?
It goes on. It goes on. It goes on. I mean, would you want the rest of it right now? I'll tell you the rest right now.
Well, I want to hear the rest.
Because you're asking me, I remember the initial question was, hey, do you like A versus B?
Yeah. Well, let's come back to that because I want to know, because I don't want it to go too far.
Gotcha.
Right? Because now how did you get in the business?
You want to know how I got in the business?
Yeah.
So I'm making video games for Midway Home Entertainment in San Diego.
Really?
I work for Midway. Yeah, I'm making video games. I'm a product analyst, and I'm also a lead.
Midway, I mean, they had Missile Command, didn't they?
I don't know. They didn't have Missile Command. They had Mortal Kombat. They had NFL Blitz. They had Ready to Rumble. They licensed and they did distribution for games like Micro Machines, Gex, Jackie Chan. We did Game Boy. We did every fucking platform out there. We were one of the only companies we did everything. There was no other company that did cabinets. We did cabinets for so arcades, stand up, drop a quarter in. We did those. We did pinball, Williams Electronics, Robotron, 2084, Defender, Joust.
I know I see Midway.
Classics. Like, we were the biggest and the best.
I love Defender.
Yeah.
I love it.
You saved the humans, right?
Yeah.
That was it. They really coined that, man. Those dudes, they really hit that. But then Mortal Kombat came out, and I did Sub-Zero Mythologies, and Just a lot of fucking cool shit.
You're programming or what do you?
No, so I did when I started, I was a tester, so I did a lot of testing.
Playing, so you're a gamer.
Yeah, well, not now, but I was.
Okay.
Yeah, this was 90s. This was a long time. This was before I came to LA.
You good at Galaga?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty good at Galaga. Yeah.
How about Missile Command? I love that. I turned that sucker over.
I'm not that great at Missile Command. Missile Command to me was fun, but then it gets intense fast. Yeah.
Yeah. I turned it over. One quarter. Yeah. So back to
which I like best. I love mainstream. I love to be creative. So
you got in the business.
Yeah.
So you're at Midway. You're making these cool games. You're playing them.
Correct.
Testing.
Correct.
So then
I'd start leading games. So now I'm the lead tester in a few games. Then I leave that department. I go to creative services and I work on, that's when I get into video professionally, because as I'm at Midway, I'm product analyst. So I'm testing, but I don't know how to explain it. So there's a whole marketing department that does advertisement. And during that time, I was playing with cameras and doing like home video pranks and things like that, way before Jackass. Then my interest in video grows. This creative service department has a slot available, and I jump over there. And so now I'm recording people playing the games and cutting that up to music with off-road challenge, 50 tracks, 11 cars, and we show all then. Use your nitro to beat your opponent. Power up, and so I'm putting that shit together. And so you walk into stores like KB Toys, and that stuff plays on their little TV. So we're doing those advertisements. We're sending promos of our games across the country to things that we're editing out of this department. And is
that like an Avid system?
Yes, it was Media 100.
Okay.
So it wasn't Avid, and Final Cut Pro was just coming down on the ground. They were just hitting the ground.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
So that sounds like fun.
It was a blast. I had a great time. So my department was going to be dissolved, but not before I had done a music video for a company in LA called Zoom Culture. So they sent me out to do a music video because I'd done some stuff for a friend of mine who was a local artist, and he was a singer, and he wanted me to put together a small video because MTV was having their summer beach jam, and they wanted some opening acts that were local.
What year is this?
Fuck, I couldn't even tell you.
90s?
No, 90, yeah, you're right, 95, 94, 96, like right around there, late 96. So MTV's coming to town, and he goes, hey, I'm gonna put together a video, not a music video, but just a video of me singing so I can submit for this audition for this opening to be considered as an opening act for these bands when they come to this beach party thing MTV was doing. So Summer Jam, one of those.
I remember.
So so he gets the date wrong. We make the video, but when he submits it, it's a wrap. It's already over. But the video goes on and does him some pretty good noise. He gets on this local show called Midnight, whatever, and they play the video, and he gets love from it.
So you made the video for
Yes.
And that is rock and roll?
No, it's R&B.
R&B,
It's R&B, yeah. So I'm like...
Singer singing R&B with little musicals in the back? Or
with him, his own song.
Okay.
So I did, and so what he wanted was just a performance shot. I did a music video, and there was no story, but it was just like basic guy singing in front of the thing. I made some cuts. I actually got in trouble at Midway cutting it there because I had the key to the building, and I got in early, and they were like, what are you doing? You can't be doing that. I'm like, why not?
What did I say earlier? He's a hustler.
Yeah, I'm a hustler. So I'm in there, I'm using an edit machine, but they're like, the lady had a problem with that. I was like, what's the big deal?
You weren't charging them, so.
No, I wasn't charging them. Yeah.
People's property, you know what I mean? I understand a little bit.
Yeah, but maybe. Yeah, I understand too. Yeah, but I was on my own time, so I'm like, the fuck's the problem? So he doesn't get the cut, of course, so the video does good for him, and I start doing other videos. I do other local acts. This company...
How they came to you? Word of mouth? He told somebody?
His video was... So that dude's video went on this... I want to say it's called Rhythms, 1-800 Rhythms. It's some little local... But we all watched that. If you were a singer or rapper trying to come up, that was the show you watched. Oh, so I got a little bit of love from that, and people were like, who did that? And I met a lot of people from that. It was a good thing. It was almost so, there's always, when I learned in this business, there's always a product that you're gonna do that's gonna take you leaps and bounds above a lot of the other stuff you do. Like as an artist, you'll see some artists who'll make an album, but they'll do a certain album that'll get them, or a movie, it'll pick them up.
I understand. It's very strange out there. Maybe it's the universe. Some weird shit happens when it comes to artistry. And maybe just everything. Who knows, right? Because the universe does weird things sometimes. Correct. You see so many things happen. But there was this artist that I was buying paintings off of over there in like Westlake.
Gotcha.
Right? She's Zora, or I can't remember her name exactly, but it's like almost 15 years ago. Aura or something like that. And I sat there and, talked to her. And she had a lot of cool paintings, right? And she said, I don't know what it is, but some days I'll come up with a masterpiece just so easy. It'll be just come. Mm-hmm. And then some days I'll be breaking my balls or breaking my back to try to make something that won't go. It's just so strange. So it's similar.
Like that.
It's similar.
I write too, and I use I have to be in a really good creative space. But there's days I can sit in front of the computer for 5-8 hours and come up with one page. And there's sometimes I can sit down for like 20 minutes and knock out 3 pages. And it's just, or even more. Like, for instance, kind of going back to Ransom, I remember not knowing how to end the fucking film. And I remember sitting in front of the laptop and not knowing, and coming up with like 50 things, but they were just okay. It wasn't like a nice, I shut the door. And then the scene as it ends, it's the boss gets all this henchmen around that fucked up this thing he had going on. And now he's standing there making them answer questions on why they did certain things. And then he gets up and he's got 2 new henchmen that we haven't seen. I'm one of them. And he gets up and the guy goes, boss, what do you want us to do now? And he just turns back and he goes, pray. And then these 2 turn around and pull out guns and just shoot everyone in the booth. And I'm like, that's fucking shit. Like, so when I walked away with that ending, I'm like, ding. I could have put a quarter in a jar and went home. That was a chicken dinner. That was it. And that shit has propelled me for decades, that one little movie. But my point is, I could sit in front of the shit for days, blank, 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 and then 1 minute.
Yeah. You think it's your brain? Because that's where everything comes from. Or is there something in the air messing with you? Or is there something in the air that could help propel you at certain times? I don't know. I listened to Roy Jones before. You know Roy Jones?
Yeah, the boxer.
He said, man, I don't know what's going on. My left hook wasn't working that night. But that's his main weapon, you know, that quick left hook. And so you say, it happens to everybody. Yeah. Well, if it happens to Roy Jones, happens to this artist, happens to, it's very strange. Anyways, it's a strange occurrence.
Correct, yeah. It is. But yeah, for me, it's just creative. Like, if I'm in a good space, it works. And I know when I can get something good, and I know when I'm just going to be getting something okay. Mm-hmm. Like, something just getting by versus like that thing that's like crazy, powerful.
So the people, you made a nice video and the people started coming to you? And they
started coming more and more. I didn't have any advertisement, but they started. I've always been word of mouth kind of a guy. Haven't had a website in decades. I put one together and then I don't like it and I scrap it and never turn back. And then 5 years go by, I want another one. And then right now I'm in the middle of a website. So we'll see how this next one turns out.
How much did you charge for a video back then?
So for the one I did for my friend, there was no charge because I don't really know what I was doing. The one I did after that, I think I was charging $500. So the lady, I'm in San Diego, the lady that represented this artist, Cricket, Immortal Gang, tells me to come up here to meet her. So I live in San Diego. I drive all the way the fuck up to San Diego, meet with this chick in like Studio City. We sit down for coffee and whatever. And the meeting lasts like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm driving from San Diego, only to find out that the artist is in San Diego. He's like 10 minutes from me. I'm like, what the fuck was this for? But I didn't know. So anyway, I go back, I meet the guy, and they're like real rappers. Like, these are some fucking
Thugged out in
street
those
dudes.
days.
Yeah, they're on 41st and, San Diego. So
I don't even think they're thugged out these days, right?
they're real. Those dudes are real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, those days, right?
Yeah, they're real.
Not like that anymore, I don't think.
No, they're a little softer now, but yeah, back then they were real. So we get on set, I get there and there's like fucking Crips everywhere. And I'm just like, fuck, they're gonna take my shit, But they respected me so much. They protected me. As soon as I came on, they're like, get everything he needs over. And I'm just like, oh shit, they just started grabbing shit. And then there's dudes that, when you shoot videos like that, other gangs find out, there may be some retaliation, they know where all the opposing gang is, so they may go over there and finish some unfinished business. So you always have that to worry about. And there's a lot of shit, and I know this because when I'm shooting, there'll be times when they go, oh, hey, who's that car right there? Who's that car? And so you're like, oh, fuck, I'm about to get shot. I don't know shit about what the fuck is going on. But they're like, if a car comes by that's, moving slow or moving fast, or they don't know, some niggas are walking by, everybody stops. I don't care how high you are, how drunk. If they're in a spot, they check and make sure they motherfuckers have receipts to be walking by or in the area, whatever. So that goes on. And that's when you learn that you got to be careful how you move. You got to really watch how you move. Shit like that helped me move in the adult business. Like always not having to be aware prior, and then having to always be aware even when you're not aware,
Oh, yeah, no, I totally know about that.
So I shoot the video. I cut it. I'm good for this. So they need it on the 10th. I get it to them like on the 12th. They're losing their hair between now and then. So I get it to them on the 12th. I go to work. The lady who commissioned me calls me. So they're like, Bishop, you got to call line 6. So I'm over here on the phone. And I'm talking, and she is going off. She's like, this is crazy. This video is awesome. This is nuts. The owner wants to talk to you. I'm like, hang on a sec. Bishop, got to call line 4. I pick up this. It's the owner. He's in love. He's ecstatic. He's going off the chains. He's going, this video is awesome. We love it. I don't know if I can find it. I'll send it to you. Maybe you could throw it in here with this.
Well, I don't have the rights to it, right? But,
yeah. I created it, so I don't know how that works.
The music's scary for me.
Yeah, I got you. But anyway, yeah, so it was called Smoking Dookie.
Oh, yeah?
And it's just a fun video.
What are they doing?
They're at a picnic. It's all just, we got some lowriders going through. They're eating chicken. They're dancing. They're crip walking. And the song was just fun. So so he says, hey, I'm going to pay you for that video. They were supposed to give me like $500. He offered to give me $2,000, which is crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, this is nuts. So I'm getting off the phone. I'm calling my girl at the time. In between that whole thing going on, I had applied to work for a company called Matt Rock in LA that did adult films. And they asked me to send.
Matt Rock?
Matt Rock.
Oh, I never.
Yeah. So they do a wrestling, oil wrestling, guy, girl in a pin with lights and drapery, and it was on VHS. This is where this goes. So this is back then. And, the girl gets her clothes torn off, and if you were the first 50 people to order, you got a piece of this garment with your thing. And the guy too, so you could do either or. Now their parent company was called Can-Am, and they were gay. But I was doing the Matt Rock, the straight.
I believe you.
That's funny. So yeah, I was doing, they're straight. I met a few girls that in the business. That's how I kind of got my feet wet, through them. And they were not in the business. They're in the business, but they're more just like, they're shooting in Hollywood in a studio. They're on the corner of La Brea. Not anymore. I don't know where they are now, if even they exist. But they were on the corner of La Brea in Hollywood, way up in the high rise. Like, you take the elevator, you're on like the third, 20th, 40th floor. Like, yeah, no, it was just a ratty old place, but they made a lot of money. And what they did is they bought out the whole floor, and there was all these other companies sharing the space and sharing. They had the wall of decks, VHS, and they had a girl popping in VHS recording. They had a print machine. They were putting the stickers on the videos, and they were doing it like all day long. Those machines were running. They were they were in control of their own distribution. Yeah. Bing. They were in control of their own manufacturing. Bing, they were in control of all their own shooting. They made money, and they charged like $30 to $40 for one of those fucking tapes.
I mean,
and they owned it all.
Yeah, that's smart because when you have manufacturing, when you go to the duplicator or replicator,
they rip you. They copy your shit.
For sure.
No question.
They run 100, 200, 300, 400 pieces of your stuff and send it to their family members that I actually know. You know what I mean? That I caught. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah. But they do. They all do. I don't care who it is. I've been to Thailand. I've been to...
Oh, yeah, you see everything. I saw my movies everywhere.
Yeah, what's the plaza?
No, but I'm talking America.
Yeah,
but,
Pan Thit Plaza. That's in Bangkok. You can buy anything you want there.
All the streets, on the streets. Yeah. But I'm saying in America, the people that you pay to replicate or duplicate your stuff...
They send it.
No, they take it, replicate or duplicate 1, 2, 3, 500 pieces.
Extra.
Send it. No. Send it to their people in New York or East Coast someplace, and they slip it into their stores for nothing. And then they send it back to me as a return for full price.
It's a dirty game.
Because the people never knew. Oh, yeah, TT's making a company that... Yeah, the torture...
It's a lot. You have to replicate your own shit. But even then, they'll still buy it and copy it and do the same thing.
It's harder, but you can't replicate your own stuff, in the quality. That's $1 million, $2 million machine.
No, but West Coast did, and the copies weren't that great. But it's at a level where people don't, it wasn't as bad as...
It's the blue disc, I know.
Yeah,
It's not the same.
I agree, but look how much money you take a bath on if you don't. He had a little machine and a shrink wrap machine and everything.
Yeah. But they get stuck, and I always wanted the best quality. But it's all about you. So back to you.
Okay.
So you meet this person, and
so I meet the lady. I think I got a little bit beyond that. So I meet the lady. I was like, this sucks. Coming up here to meet you, and then finding out that the fucking dude that I'm gonna shoot is down the street from me. So I do the video. She likes it. He likes it. They send me the money. I apply to do adult videos, like a wrestling, but it turns into, they fuck in the video. They fuck.
Wow.
It was erotic. It was different. So
nice looking people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very nice looking. Oh, everyone was, tall, slim, muscular. And then we had a wrestling coach that came on and showed them moves prior to, and it was like a bunch of grabs and it was about making it look painful. It was body worshiping and stuff like that. So, so we did a lot of that, and
how'd you feel seeing people have sex? That's for your first time seeing it happen?
That was my first time, yeah. That wasn't as crazy as auditioning people for those scenes, because they were saying, who I met? Like Miles Long and the girl he was dating with the big poofy hair, and a lot of old school.
I don't know that guy.
Yeah, a lot of old school guys. So I'm trying to think of some of the girls too. I can't.
Miles Long.
Yeah, that's Yeah.
He wasn't happening.
he popped up a few times, but yeah, he wasn't like.
No, I never.
He wasn't. Yeah, he was.
I heard of, if they're going on, I know them. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So
those days.
shooting. Yeah. So I was shooting for them for a little bit, and I was enjoying that. Like I was saying, the auditions to me were greater than the actual shooting, because I'm communicating with these women, and they're telling me in the ass they like to swallow cum, and in my mind I'm going, my dick's going off the chart, because I'm like, this chick's telling me, like, I love it when guys put their balls in my mouth, and I'm just sitting there like, that's fucking me up. Seeing it is okay, but hearing a chick, beautiful girl that I called on the phone and said, hey, I want to interview you, I want to talk to you to see if you're able to do this thing. She's telling me she loves fingers in her pussy, and I'm just sitting there going, and we're having a conversation just like this, and I'm like, you what?
I don't think a lot of people today, the new generation, is so normal for them to have this type of mentality, but in our day, because you're pretty close to my age.
We broke the ice on that shit.
No, but in our day, younger, when you're kids growing up, no girl would ever say anything like that. No, they would never say anything naughty, ever.
Never. So does it blow your mind? Because it still fucks me up when I get a casting email and I look at it and the girl is 18 and I look at the birth date and she turned 18 3 days ago and she's doing orgies, double vag, anal, gangbang, blowjob, swallow, spit, slurp. Like there's nothing she doesn't do. And I'm thinking, I didn't know girls like that when I was growing up. I didn't know girls like that until I got into doing porn. How were you 18 knowing that you could put 2 dicks in their pussy at the same time?
I didn't know that. But if you think back to your day when the girls, the slut girls, did get around and want to have fun and fuck, and they're not necessarily bad girls, but if you take maybe that same mentality girl and put her into today's informational, highway, like porn, internet, then maybe they're the same people.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe, but we don't relate that way because we didn't grow up that time. But there was a couple girls, I'm sure there was around your neighborhood, that were known to give it up.
Yeah, but just get like with a guy and another. It wasn't that. Nobody was talking anal. Right. Nobody was talking about swallowing cum. Like that was like.
I had a girlfriend 14. Yeah. I was 16, and I used to.
I was fucking so green. I knew none of that shit. I didn't know girls swallowing cum was like a thing and sucking on balls. Like I just thought vanilla.
My girlfriend loved to do all the crazy stuff.
Really?
At 14.
You probably helped with some influence.
Well, I guess it's like when you're young, it feels good. You don't really know what the hell's going on. Right? We didn't see it really pornos really too much. A little bit I saw, but I wasn't looking at porno for a guide how to have sex. I just
see it. Just see it, yeah. And I didn't look at it like that until in my 30s, till I started shooting it. So then I was like, I could actually take some of this information and apply it to my own bedroom. And then when I fuck with girls, either they're porn or civilian, they're always like, wow, you know your way around. And I'm all, you shoot a lot of scenes, you see what works, and you borrow and you add and you subtract and you figure out, you add things to your repertoire, just like anything else. How to cook, how to flip an egg. If you see how it's done, you might want to.
If you care enough, you'll do it.
If you want to be a better person, a better lover, a better cook, a better.
I always want to make the girls happy.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me too. Yeah.
I want to see them come, and that's why I want a lot of best sex scenes, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it takes. Yeah, you have to care.
So this is pretty cool, man. You got this. You're auditioning them. They got you turned on.
They're turning me on because I'm spending 30 minutes, and on top of that, I know that they're being a little extra sweet, but I'm enjoying it. Power position. Yeah, I'm in a power position. I'm going to decide to hire you or not, and they are enjoying it. So that works. I'm happy. So fast forward, I shoot the scenes, and that's cool. And I didn't do the editing. Someone else did the editing. I don't think I was editing. I was editing, but I wasn't editing porno then. So it was good. I worked for them for a little bit. I got fired. One day I would get up to go put gas in my car, and so I had a company credit card. So I was making like $40,000 a year back then. I was running my department. I had an American Express card, and I also had like a stipend every week that I could take like $50 worth of just extra money I could use for whatever I wanted. They were like
expense account.
Yeah, and that was a lot. That's $200 a month, and I could always put gas in my car. So one morning I get up to go put gas in, and the card's not working. And in my mind, I'm like, it's not good. There's nothing good about this. This isn't good on any level, whether it be the company's falling or I'm getting fired. This is not good, but somebody else knows about it. I'm not the first person to be putting this card in here and figuring this out. Like, some shit's about to fall down. So I go to work, and I don't remember why they fired me, but I want to say it was, I don't know what it was. I don't remember, but yeah, they fired me. I was okay, and then that's when I figured out they helped me out a lot though. Like they showed me where the valley was, like because I was in Hollywood, and at that time when I first got here, I was living in my car. A lot of people don't know that. When I got to LA from San Diego, I was living in my car, and I was living in hotels that were like really sketchy, really really ratchet. I remember I would have just enough money. I'd buy food at this Chinese restaurant. And there's a few places I bought food at, but I could only eat, no matter how hungry I was, I could only eat so much of it because I had to save the other half for when I got hungry again, And I remember, and I also had to have this mathematical balance where I knew food. I came from a cooking background, so I knew the food could only be out for so long. And so some of the places I stayed at, had insects in the room, like roaches, right? So you had to put the food up and you had to eat it. You couldn't eat all of it, but then you couldn't leave it out too long or else you get sick from just not having a refrigerator, right? So I stayed in a lot of shitty places in Hollywood, like a lot. I slept on my cousin's couch a few times with his dogs, and that was horrible. I was better off in the fucking hotel or in my car. I was still going to University of Phoenix, so I had classes. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm driving back to San Diego to take a 3-hour class, then drive back to LA. It was nuts.
Is that a good school?
It was good for me. I understand now that, I guess people are suing him because of the tuition. A lot of schools are getting sued because of overcharging and certification issues. But I learned a lot. It was good. I went there for business management.
Just curious because I see their promotional a lot.
Yeah.
It's online now.
Online. Right? Well, I didn't go online.
No,
I was going to the
online.
class. Yeah, I had study groups and I had courses and curriculums.
What'd you study?
Business management and operations. Yeah. I was trying to get an emphasis in project management. I didn't, but I want to go back and fuck with project management. I think I'm an excellent project manager. Like, for me, it's like second nature. If right now we're going to tackle building a building, I know how to break down what we need to do first and who, and like, it just somehow, and that's how I use as a producer. If somebody tells me, hey, let's do this movie about these nuns that run away and buy guns and stuff, whatever, I just figure out how to put it all together, like, in my sleep. It just, I don't know.
Do you like math?
I'm not crazy about it, but I like putting things together figuratively.
So then what happens from there? It's a little bit rough and homeless and.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough. I only have enough money to, like, the way the hotels work is, and I'm sure everyone's familiar with this, but you book a room for the amount of time you want to stay. So that wasn't my situation. My situation was the amount of money. Like, I couldn't book a month because I only had enough money for 2 days. But on that second or third day, I might come up, I might get some money and I could stay longer. But they already booked my room because I was out. So there's many times I went back to my room to find all, like I'm leaving knowing I have to check out. But I'm hoping when I get back that there's no one stressing and but I get back and all my shit's, I go to the counter, it's happened many times. I go to the counter as I'm talking to the guy about my key not working. I'm looking behind him and there's all my shit on one of those carts. Like they clean out my room. And, but I'd have a gig up here, so I'm here getting gigs. I'm using, what's helping me a lot is the LA Weekly. Is that that's getting, I'm calling those places and I'm getting work through that. That's what's keeping me.
What kind of work?
Mainstream, adult. I'm doing, not adult, I hadn't done it, like, really put my feet in yet, but that's when I got with Matt Rock. That was my first. They were the ones that actually got me up here. They paid me to come up here. And I sent them the Dookie video. So they're a porno company. And they say, what do you got? Or, when you submit. And I sent them the Dookie video. I beat out whoever else sent videos in. They loved it. They thought it was funny. They were going to relocate me. I remember taking my mother and my sister out to dinner and telling them, man, I'm going to go to LA to do porn. And they're like, what? And I talked about it prior. Like, I worked on some mainstream sets in San Diego. And I remember me and a couple of girls just talking about all the money's in this adult thing. And I'm like, yeah, I want to go do that. And I remember there's one girl, Ellen Curry in particular, like, we used to talk about, we were on one particular movie called To Hell With Love. And it was a comedy, romantic comedy.
You were shooting it?
I was production manager.
Okay.
So it was like $1 million budget film.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I did Street Sweeper. I worked on a few productions. And I think that's what got me the bigger meal tickets here in LA, because I didn't come from, hey, hold this camera, I'm gonna fuck this chick. I worked on like real big production sets. I worked for Stu Siegel. I worked on Pensacola Wings of Gold. I worked on Renegades, like, oh, that show. Renegade. Yeah, that dude, Alonzo Lamas or something. Yeah. Alonzo Lamas.
Yeah, they're pretty blonde.
Yeah. When I was on camera, I was behind the camera. I was taking acting classes, but I wanted to do this, and I had a camera, and I was filming pranks, and I was trying to do something, but San Diego wasn't really the place to get it popping off.
They were shooting Silk Stockings.
I did Silk Stockings. That's the same company.
Ernie was the guy that was working on the set.
Lights.
Yeah, Ernie, and he was in the adult business.
Oh.
And so was JT. JT was shooting camera, I think, for some of those a year or two. And JT's from the. You ever meet JT?
It sounds really familiar.
Yeah,
Ernie, it does, and so does the JT.
Yeah, JT, and they're both from the adult business. JT was John Leslie's cameraman.
Was he young, like a real young kind of a...
No, JT's older,
Okay.
but still in good shape. And Ernie was older too. They're both close, same age.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, but yeah, those cats I worked with on those shows, and that was the only thing really going. And then every now and again, those crews would do other things, and they would call me like, "Hey, we're doing a music video." I did a Johnny Rotten music video, from what's that punk? Johnny Rotten,
I know.
Clash. I want to say.
Really?
I hope I'm not saying that wrong.
We can look him up.
Yeah, let's look him up. Johnny Rotten. I think it's with the Clash. I don't want to say that, and then he's with Pistol. Something.
Sex Pistols?
Yeah, I think Sex Pistols. One of those two. Johnny Rotten.
Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols, Johnny Rotten, yeah. So I did a video with him. I did some shit with not Michael Bivins. The lead, I can't even think of the name. But I worked
Ralph
with
Tresvant?
No. One of those five. It wasn't Bobby, it wasn't Ralph, it wasn't Bell Biv DeVoe. Who was the dude? Ricky Bell. I did stuff with Ricky Bell. I did stuff with Case. I did stuff with Next. I was really moving things, and it was all based off of the Dookie video. That's what got me a lot of play, and I didn't know what I was doing. I spent a long time working on that video, but I knew in my head what I wanted it to look like. And that's when I kind of knew, if I just focus on this shit, I could probably do something. People like the shit I do. That was my first time trying to make music videos.
You were excited? People liked it?
I was excited. And I came up here to do music videos. I came up here officially to do porn, but I wanted to do music videos. That was all I wanted to do is music videos. I didn't want to do feature films, nothing. I wanted to do music videos.
What was the next step?
So I joined some group that does music videos, MPVA or something, and that didn't do shit for me. There's a lot of fees, a lot of that, and so I ended up finding a place with Matt Rock. They helped me realize that there's good places to live in LA. It doesn't all look like Hollywood, and I found the Valley, and the Valley reminded me of San Diego, and so I was happy. The San Fernando, the 818.
The 818, San Fernando. You cannot fuck with San Fernando.
You can't.
Valley.
It's beautiful. Some people don't consider it LA, and it's not, but they consider it like a whole nother world on its own, and it is. A lot of people don't know the way the Valley became the porn capital of the world is a lot of the Hollywood actresses and actors that didn't make it in Hollywood went over the hill where they were accepted. So if you didn't make the cut, you might have the look, you may not have the acting chops, but if you wanted to be in front of the camera and you couldn't deliver what Hollywood wanted, or you didn't want to play the game, you went over the Valley and they had a place for you. And there was no discrepancy. They were lining up and signing them up. But if you wanted to be in front of the camera, the Valley would take you.
That's a good point, because a lot of people that couldn't make it in Hollywood, and it's so easy. Well, not in the early 90s, it's not so easy, but in the later 90s, it becomes a lot easier. But, Jim South,
Yeah,
he's the guy who made it happen. I don't know if you realize this, but we talked about on his, his interview.
I watched that, yeah.
Oh, you did, right. So, yeah. So, Jim, in my opinion, made the San Fernando Valley the porn capital of the world, because he's the only agent that was responsible and professional. And he really, if you watch the interview, put his money out for marketing and kept the talent coming in for the people to come in from Frisco, from New York, from wherever, to come in and use this talent pool. Before, it was all squandered all over the place. So it was not in Frisco and New York. But the San Fernando Valley is the porn capital of the world, period, because of Jim South.
Yeah.
Sunny, no rain, beautiful, and that's why one of the main reasons. Jim and the sun.
The sun, yeah. That would make a great film.
I have the script.
Yeah, that's good. That'd make a great film. Yeah.
I wrote that beautiful book. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So fast forward, where are we now? I'm doing the Matt Rock.
San Fernando Valley.
I'm in the Valley. Yeah, and I'm in the LA Weekly. Is it no? The LA Weekly, and I see production manager one day, and I call them, and I see editor one day. Anyway, and it was for Seymour Butts, but I didn't know. And I call, and they're looking for an editor. I think Adam is looking for an editor.
Adam
Glasser.
Glasser.
Yeah. And but
I like him.
His secretary answers the phone, and it's Mariposa, but it's Myrna at the time before that. So she answers the phone. She goes, "Yeah, just come on down." And she didn't really. I was looking for something else. I think I asked if you needed an editor, and she's like, "No, we're looking for a production manager." I go, "I could do that too." She's like, "Yeah, come on down then." So I went down, and he hired me. I got the job. He didn't ask much. One thing that I always laugh at about that first interview with Adam, is that he assumed that I knew his movies inside out. He was talking to me, and he's like, "Yeah, in Mission to Uranus, when we do or my movies, how we do this, and well, my camera the way and I'm like, oh yeah. I know I never watched one of his movies. I had no idea, but I knew I was gonna do some homework, and he gave me a few, and we made some pretty good flicks for a while. Yeah, we had a good time.
I like Adam a lot,
Yeah, he's got great integrity. He takes his work serious.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. I was what do you want to call it?
You're in Pool Party, right?
No, I'm like but I'm an ongoing family member or whatever.
You.
Butch, they call me, right? Yeah. Let me call Cousin Butch up, right?
Yeah.
They didn't even use TT. They said Cousin Butch.
I like the way he did his films.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Margold said you got to use TT. Right when he first started. I think he started in '92. Started making the movies. Ironically, I saw him on set for Stagliano, working for Stagliano or renting a gym or something in 1990.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, I'm pretty sure 92, I could be off a little bit, but I'm pretty sure right around then, he invents Seymour Butts, which is a cool name.
It is, yeah. Yeah, he did a great job. He made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It worked well.
I liked him a lot. We won Best Sex Scene in Canada one time. Seymour and Shane on the Loose, whatever.
Yeah. There's that on the Loose. Yeah. I did comps for him too, and we diced up his product a million different ways. I came in with him when the VHS was still on, and we were going to DVD. We hadn't even went to DVD yet.
Oh, no. Because DVD really didn't happen until about 2000.
Yeah, we were in VHS, but I'm saying, I remember
VHS,
making that jump with him.
Oh, what's
like taking those old masters, and you remember that when you had to figure out which ones you wanted to start with, and you took your library and you prioritized who was coming first, second, and third, but you knew you were going to sell that motherfucker for full retail, and it was already money made.
I could just tell you it was
that fucking day.
It was just like you hit a gold mine. You got lucky. Finally, you're at the right place at the right time.
Critical.
And I didn't have that many, but I probably had 100 movies. 70, 100 movies. I flipped those suckers.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, what we did, we added a bonus scene, and it was him getting his dick sucked. And people bought it for full retail, brand new.
Adam?
That was just fucking icing on the cake.
Was he kinky or what?
Yeah, we did some crazy shit. I remember one time you had this, I can't think of her name, Avina. You know Avina.
I can't remember.
He put his dick in a donut what was that? The popular donut shop everyone goes to, Krispy Kreme. Yeah, so he put his dick in a Krispy Kreme, and she ate around it. It was like breakfast. It was fun. It was fun.
I know he was really into the anal.
Yeah, he was.
But that's all. People like that.
When he did that, I'm like, oh, this is crazy, dude. This chick's eating a donut off your date. But that's cool. How you get people to watch your flicks. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I mean, if you listen to all the interviews, they're not posted yet, but if you start listening to them, you would be surprised how one way or another destiny intercepts you and guides you towards porno. It's really kind of weird, man. To a lot of people, the road to porno. Yeah, it was like the yellow brick road, and it is. I don't think people understand, but porno is just like the Wizard of Oz. Like, you're lucky to meet the Wizard of Oz. You're lucky to get into porno. You're lucky. Yeah,
it's a lot of luck, because I can tell you when I'm trying to get in, and what I liked about porno, and I'm gonna tell you most importantly, it was the fact that they had a great rapid production schedule. So you were never down. When I did mainstream, and I had a good taste of that in San Diego, you work on this episode, wings, fucking silk
yeah.
stockings, and you're down. It's over.
Oh.
You're out. And
Notorious.
yeah.
Notorious for having to work 1 month and having no work for 2 months.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the mainstream actors don't really realize that the beauty of porno is that you can work every day. And when I was at my heyday, I was turning down $20,000 jobs because I couldn't shoot for Black Ice and West Coast in the same day. And I was also shooting for TV Guide and ABC and Showtime and NBC and all those networks. I was doing my fucking studio was ridiculously busy. We were doing all kinds of promos. We were on set, Entourage, Whisper. We were doing shit for TV Guide, Weeds. They were sending us clips. I was at Buena Vista pulling tapes for Lost, all kinds of shit because we were putting together clips, ads for TV Guide. So they'd have a fall lineup. They would have a summer hot sizzling with TV Guide, and let's see what's next on, and we would cut to
editing them, you're saying?
Editing. And shooting. Yeah, we're on set. I shot behind the scenes and productions for a lot of shows like fucking America's Got Talent and all kinds of shit like that. Rockstar, all that shit, yeah. And that was good money. But so we're doing that and I'm doing porno. So sometimes I couldn't do one because I had to do the other. And when I would hire crews, they would say, hey, we want you there. So I would try to hire guys, but they didn't have that, whatever I had. And the companies would complain, primarily the mainstream. I could never hire anyone to do the adult stuff. I had to show up. And that were the checks I was always trying to reach. When mainstream would call me and I would do stuff for TV Guide, I'd be on board and I'd be ready to go. But when it came down to who I was gonna stay in bed with, it was never mainstream because I knew they were gonna be a flash in the pan, so to speak. I knew I was gonna be doing adult. Adult was already paying for a lot of shit. Yeah. I'm the guy going in there buying like 5 computers and monitors and desk and I was doing good with porno, great. I didn't need, that other shit was icing on the cake. I just kind of met a girl who was in bed with a few companies and then she liked me and turned me on to them and they liked me and I was always word of mouth. That's always worked for me. I did a good job, they hired me.
Oh, I heard that from a couple people that the mainstream just wastes your time a lot of times.
I don't think anytime you get a check, you can consider it a waste of time. I think it's always fair. And I always thought they paid well. But they have a lot, let me give you an example. I had an office in TV Guide. One time I was leaving the country. I think I was going to Thailand. And I was setting up a new system there. I didn't have a cable. I needed a cable, I don't know, maybe a FireWire cable, right? And so I remember I had to call like 3 different departments and get someone to get an approval to get the cable up. And then I couldn't even put it in my own computer. They had a guy that was gonna do it. It's just how mainstream too, I can't just move lights and cameras. You have to get, it's out of your department, it's out of your department. You're like, hey, can you move this light? You don't have that freedom. And so what I liked about the mainstream is I was that guy. I made those decisions. When I got there is when we started.
Well, I think maybe you're an exception because you're always trying to grind hard. You're always trying to work hard. But I'm saying mostly for the actors and actresses when they go to do mainstream, it's hard to get a job, right? And especially these days, you don't get paid much, right? Unless you get a great big part, which is very seldom, right?
And it has to be recurring.
And all this time you're working your balls off to try and grab a part and you get nothing and all this time and effort. And porno is sitting there feeding you sometimes crazy money, crazy food. Actually, if you want to talk like that, you get these big giant meals, right? Not on the set, but just literally with the money. And you're like, wow, this is so great.
But if you're smart, you know how to create that next one. And they're open because there was a time when I'm shooting for West Coast and they're shooting 12 titles a month. I never got into that spin. When I got on, they were a little bit slowing down. But we learned, at that point, I learned who I was. I learned the type of films I like to make. And it wasn't that run and shoot some shit real quick and just get the girl fucking the guy and jacking off him. It wasn't that. It was like some really slow, if I get my way, I want to make a movie. Because for me, I like to get into the characters. So I like to create scenarios that I feel like could be real. I didn't think the guy knocking at the door saying who ordered the sausage pizza was really, but for some guys, they fast forward and just got to the sex.
Yeah.
I didn't need to get to the sex. I want to believe that this girl really has a boyfriend and she's supposed to be at school. And how can I make the audience believe that? Because to me, that's way more important. Because in my mind, I'm just fucking cerebrally crazy, but in my mind, she's fucking 30 times this month, probably the same guys every other guy or every other 3 guys. And I want my shit to stand out. I don't want it to look, I want when you watch my bullshit make-believe story, that it's more make-believe than this girl not looking like a teen, supposed to be a teen, doing whatever she's doing, versus on my set, I bring in the mom. So I'm hiring extras and I'm trying to get you to believe this girl is taking her mom's keys and really stealing a car and going to meet this guy that they're telling them not to meet. Like, to me, that gets my dick moving. If I'm like, because I can believe that if I set it up right. Her saying the right things, the right chemistry.
Well, that would
me.
Lead me to a question of, did you watch the films from the 70s?
That's all I watched. And that's what I thought
Porno
was. That's all I thought porn was until I got to Seymour's. I wish I was kidding. When I got to Seymour's, I was a little disappointed because he had these great titles and it said home movies. And I thought it was like Mission to Uranus. I thought they were dressing up and I'm just being naive. I just thought there was more of him sitting here like this and then the fucking doorbell rings and he goes, "Oh, you're late. Hey, we're supposed to go to the movies." And, I thought today was Wednesday. Oh shit, let me go get my coat. You guys come on in. And he disappears and he comes back and she's sucking the guy's dick when he comes to the sofa. He goes, "What are you doing? We're missing a movie. Look what time it is. Oh my God." I was like, that's what this is? When I looked at the box and I looked at the name, I just thought, he had some great names, Poetic Just Ass, and I'm thinking there's some story. It's just like a home movie. I love what he did. I thought it was great. But
Fun.
I came from porno. Like in my mind, I just thought these were like a movie. That's what I thought porno was, a fucking film. And that's how I walked in this thinking that these were movies. I didn't know until I go to West Coast. Gonzo, that's what it was. Gonzo, I didn't know Gonzo was ever born. I didn't know that.
But there was beautiful 70s porno and some of the early 80s.
Beautiful movies.
Right? I mean, kinky,
Beautiful.
taboo, right?
Yes, and you fall in love with the characters and you believe that the rock band is in this room and the groupies are trying to get in and you're,
Right.
yeah,
And you could jack onto it. And it gets you excited because it's mentally stimulating.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to create when I was making porn. I didn't know that Gonzo had broken off and that a guy could be sitting on the couch and a girl could just walk in the room and shake her butt and then that'd be the fucking movie.
Please let me, ask you about some of those 70s movies. Because,
Please.
That's an exciting time, right?
It's a great time. 80s too.
The late 70s, late 70s and early 80s, and mid 80s, right? I'm watching all that stuff. Even to when I was doing film, even some of these movies in the 80s, right? But you had these actors and actresses. Do you remember any of them that you said, "Well, these are pretty decent actors"?
To be honest with you, I thought 90% of them were decent, 90 plus, because
they're trying.
the story, there was someone pushing them to be these characters. They had the costumes, and that's critical. The location is critical. The props are critical.
Yeah.
That's stuff that's lost in porn, and that's stuff that I try to bring back. I try to and I worked for Wicked, and I made a couple films for them, and Joy was the head chief over there. And I remember one time I was sitting in the office with her, and they got frustrated with me a lot. A lot of people do. My creative gene doesn't work for everyone, and I think that's just how it works. So they were frustrated with me like every turn of the coin.
Why?
So I'll explain 90% of the times, like really quick. I'll go into a quick one. So we're going through casting, and they're suggesting who they want me to shoot. And I stop and I go, "But
hold on, let me tell the people, in case anybody doesn't know, Wicked Pictures is a very big company, and they do some films and a lot of big budget movies.
Huge budget movies.
Yeah, huge budget.
So
they copied. I'm gonna let you know this.
They copied.
Not really copied, but they took the business model of VCA Pictures originally. Because I was there when Steve said, "Hey man, I'm gonna start a company." He was
working.
He was a salesman for Ruby.
Yeah.
For this guy who was selling Tracy Lords tapes illegally outside. Right? Anyway, Ruby's from the old days, right? I remember Steve telling me I'm gonna start a company. It was about 91.
Yeah.
So he copied the business model of VCA because they had big budget movies, new wave hookers, all kinds of wild stuff. VCA was big time. Anyways, so Wicked is a big.
They're huge,
company.
yeah, and they still are very prominent. They still do well. I mean, they still charge what they charge.
Yeah.
They still spend a good chunk of change on movies. Yeah. They don't make as many.
Quality.
Yeah, but they do. They really focus on quality.
And Brad is one of the
Armstrong is one of their main directors. Yeah. So I got in. They called me. They liked my work. Ransom was one of those movies that they were like, "That's cool. Pretty good." Evil Angel called me. They're like, "It's pretty good."
Really?
They like that. The movie did a lot for me back then. So So Joy and I are bumping heads, and they're not bad bumping heads. It's
Joy's
just
cool,
like, yeah, I love Joy, and she was just okay, Bishop, we don't want to use this girl, and they have their reasons because it's based off of their fans and whatever, and they suggested these other girls. They wanted me to play with this other girl, like in the scene, and I was explaining that.
I mean, sorry, is this similar to the time Jenna's blown up? This is after
Jenna's already doing her thing.
Already gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
This is 2000. 1, 2, 3, something like that.
No.
Or 5 or 6. 8 or 9?
9 or 10.
10, okay.
Maybe 11.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
so it's right around there.
I know Joy for
A long time. Yeah.
95.
She goes back. She's been in it for a minute. Joy, like I said, Joy and I are kind of in a disagreement on these characters. So they sent me a list of girls they want me to use. And my big hang up is she doesn't look like she would be the sister of this girl that I want her to be. And that fucked her up. She looked at me, she looked at Steve, not your Steve, the guy that runs the show, Steve. There's two Steves. Steve
Steve
K.
Ornstein is the owner.
Yeah, but Steve K runs the general manager. So he's like, what do we do with that? Like, who gives a fuck if the chick couldn't play her older sister?
I had that same problem with mothers and daughters. It'd make me crazy when I say, it has to be this. I wait 6 months for the right girl to come in the match.
Yeah. So
to finish the movie.
Yeah. And that's how I am with my filmmaking. And so they didn't like that. One time I was doing another film and I was over budget and they're like, well, it's going to come out of your final pay, but if you want this airport, because the girl was going to leave and I wanted the airport built. I wanted I wanted to see the girl getting on the plane and I had the boarding flight 73, passengers proceed to gate B, I had all that, and I had the fire extinguisher. I took a picture of how I wanted these guys to build this little lobby, and a guy comes and runs after her, and he stops her, and they don't leave, and that was a scene in my flick, and they were like, "Don't do it," and I'm like, "I'm gonna do it," and I did it. But those are kind of the things that one time I'm on. One last one, and I'll make it quick. One time I'm on set, and Joy walks in. Unbeknownst, she used to pop in, right? And I'm sitting in Diana DeVoe's living room, or her guest room. I don't know if you know Diana DeVoe. So
I know her, of course, but I was never at her house.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in there, and I'm sitting in a fucking fold-up chair. I have the male actor in front of me and the female actor in front of me. They have their scripts open, and we're going over the scene. And I'm giving them backstory of why she should feel the way she feels. And Joy walks in and is like, "You're really directing this thing." Like, I'm like, yeah, that's what I did. I'm like really sitting down with these people because I need this. I want people to believe it. And then that's how I make. That was, if you give me if you give me a situation where I don't have to hold the microphone, the lights, and the camera, and I can like peel back a little, a budget where I can, you can hold the camera, you know what you're doing? Cool. Put that shit on the slider. Keep it slow. We're gonna watch you move and we'll work on that. And then you're gonna go up and down, go on the chip, you do that. And if we can get that, and I don't have to turn the lights down, man, I can make a beautiful piece of work.
Wow. I was saying to bring up the point is that there was a guy who I was pretty friendly with, right? An actor, porn actor, director. Okay. And he had this same problem sometimes. he would always go way over budget, right? He'd get helicopters, get this, get that. I gotta make my movie, right? His name was Buck Adams. You heard of him?
Yeah.
Right? He used to live with me as a roommate. He stopped in one day and didn't leave for 6 months. But anyways, it was back in 92. But he loved those big pictures. And he would always go over budget, but he didn't care. He wanted to get
You
something
wanted a
great.
shot, yeah. That's how it was with that scene. I usually stayed within budget. West Coast had already trained me how to stay in budget. And in the beginning, I didn't. But then I learned how to stay in budget. I learned how to make money off of the budget, because when you get a budget, there's no money return. But I always kept it enough net that if something fell out, I could recover and repair it without. I never went back to the producer and went, hey, I need another $100. I always worked within the means that I had. And I always budgeted appropriately so that I wouldn't end up upside down. But when you first start, it's rough, And when I first started, I started with Matt Rock, and they were giving me a great deal of money. They're like, you book the lights, you rent them, where you pick them up, you and the guy set up the lights the night before, and they have drapes, and you order the drapes, and you hang them from the fucking 40-foot things, and they made it look nice, right? So I had a good budget, and I didn't really have too tight of a ceiling with them. Then I come to the Valley, and they're like, yo, we're gonna do this shit for nothing. And they're like, all right, cool. But West Coast paid good money. They paid, I felt, not for editing, they paid me shit. Editing, the most I ever got from them was for their gonzo, like if I'm editing a Mandingo film or I'm editing Alexander DeVoe film, Jack Napier film, Justin Slayer film, any one of those cats, they're paying me anywhere from $1,100 to $1,300, $1,500.
In those days, that's fairly average, huh?
Yeah. But Adam was paying me like $5,000 doing
really?
the same thing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And Cousin Stevie.
Wow.
I had other clients pay me $3,000 and $4,000. Black Ice was paying me good, but the black company, they were paying me like the least amount by a good measure. But Adam was paying me like $5,000 a movie. Because
you were on the Showtime show, right?
Yeah, I was on.
What was it called again?
Family Business.
Family Business, right?
But even prior to that, that was just my rate with him, and he was cool with it. And we worked on one a month. It wasn't like he was making good money.
He saw a lot of pieces, I heard. Huh?
Oh yeah,
$6,000-7,000 out the door, something like that. At $14-15, something like that.
And that's before he went to Pure Play. But then he got with Pure Play, and it even got greater.
So he's making like $100,000 out the door on a movie.
Yeah,
but the budget he's probably doing is about $25,000.
He didn't cut costs. He was more with him. It was crazy because I could pay the girls more than they even asked, and he was like, "Give it to her. Yeah. I'm gonna have 3 guys put their dicks in her butt. Give it to her."
He's cool. Like, cool. He's a nice guy. I thought he was cool always. I liked him a lot. I got busy. I couldn't work for him anymore. But, of course, I did a lot of work for him. But I guess back to the 70s and 80s films, right?
Yeah. I still have some.
Is there any actors that you said these guys that you remember?
No,
John Leslie?
John Leslie, I remember him. I can't think of the Asian chick. There's a few.
Oh, there was Christara Barrington. There was Mei Lin.
I remember Mei Lin.
Mei Lin was sexy as hell.
Yeah. But there was another chick. I have the movies at home. I still have them on VHS.
Oh, it was beautiful time, right? How about Jamie Gillis?
I don't remember her.
No, the guy. Named Jamie Gillis. No. He's the #1 actor in the 70s and the early 80s. Of course, John Holmes. But he wasn't. Anyways, so Paul Thomas, you're a PT, right?
Yeah.
Have you met Paul Thomas?
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah. I don't know him, but I know who he is.
He was on the show.
Yeah.
And he had the crazy statement he said, because I'm going to bring up this to you later. He said, why have sex without drugs? And I can't do drugs now, so why have sex? So it doesn't go with this,
Yeah.
But it's just a crazy statement, right? Because, there are a lot of girls on the sets did drugs. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of drug use.
I've never seen any of that drug use.
No?
No, never.
Don't lie.
We're all here under free will, and I'm not under any drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, right? Because,
that's a statement. Just let them know that's a statement that we have the girls say on camera, that they're not under any drugs or alcohol. They're here under their free will, and they know that they're being filmed for an adult entertainment production.
That's a great point.
And they have to say the date. So that's why I said that, because I want you to know.
You have to do this recording on your tape because so many people have come back from the past and said, ow, when they were lying, mostly.
Yeah.
But, anyways, but you see a lot of girls get high?
No, never. I heard about it, but I've never seen it.
No, this is a free station. This is a free form.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of girls. What'd you see the most of? Marijuana?
Mostly alcohol.
Cocaine?
Mostly alcohol.
How much cocaine did you see?
No, mostly alcohol. Very little coke. Mostly
speed,
alcohol.
a lot of meth?
Most people, like, when I send out my notice, I send out a text message, and it's almost like a call sheet. And on there it says, be on time. And everything's in lowercase, providing periods and sentences get punctuation correctly. But all caps was no drugs or alcohol and be on time. Those were the mandates. If you didn't bring those or come with that, I canceled scenes a lot. Not a lot, but enough. Because I knew what the day would be like. And I was like, this chick's drunk. It's 7:30. It's going to be a rough day.
7:30 in the morning.
In the morning, yeah. And by noon, it's going to be a mess. And like when I did those features, I'd have a stable, right? And I'm shooting for Wicked or West Coast. And I have a room of chicks upstairs getting ready and talking shit and getting fucked.
At the studio.
At the studios, yeah, or the set, wherever we're on. And there'd always be the one guy who'd show up with this big bag. And I already knew what was in the bag. And they would keep it down low.
Really?
But yeah, they'd come in, like, let's say
a guy selling stuff or a guy
No, he's a talent. But they're telling him, so everyone's got a call time at, let's say, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And then there's on the call sheet, there's other breakdowns. So there's other guys coming in later. So when someone's on the way in, they'll be like, hey, stop by the store and pick up da-da-da-da-da. And so when he comes in, he brings 2 big bottles of vodka. 2 hours later, it's getting noisier upstairs. It's hard to keep we're trying to shoot downstairs. It's getting rowdy. We eat, people are slurring, things are looking, the drinks are, it's looking, you could tell. I go upstairs, you could smell it, you could see the girls, and then, I mean, but liquor was the big drug of choice for black folks. I think we're like a liquor blunt kind of a toting. Coke is not really our bag, not in a big way.
Yeah. Well, marijuana and alcohol.
Yeah, there are, smoking, rolling, and mostly everyone would start with a drink or a smoke. And I never encouraged that. I just knew that what they were doing was it took a lot, and sometimes they had to chip off the edge. You have to take a little off the 10. You can't just run on the field and play ball. Sometimes you had to, whatever they needed, and that goes as far as, if you needed Viagra, if you needed a douche, whatever you needed, come to set. Know what the fuck you need. Don't come on set and start fucking, which this pissed me off a lot, and go, I need a Viagra. Well, it's your fucking dick. You didn't know it doesn't work for this long without Viagra? Or if I can have a drink, I would drink.
That's not gonna work, right?
Well, no, for me it works. I could be drunk. I could be on coke and my dick gets up. It's hard.
Of course, he never does coke.
Never. Only in Colombia.
Or Brazil.
Nah, fuck Brazil, man. Those laws. Coke. Yeah, no. The coke in Colombia, primo, from what I heard. Brazil, you don't want to get caught with nothing in Brazil. You want to.
It's communist.
Yeah, but Colombia, I remember walking into bars and they're holding cocaine.
Was an actor named M.A.?
M.A., yeah. And,
that's why, hold on, just to let you know, Colombia is my hood.
Yeah?
That's my spot.
Bogota?
The whole spot. The whole place is my spot.
Shit.
I'm the guy who was in Colombia first.
Yeah.
I brought Mark with me. Yeah. So you guys were in Colombia because of me.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways. Yeah. So that's my coke.
That's your coke, right? So, but you could walk into a bar and they're at the door, just girls, whatever, guys offering you coke. Now, I don't mean selling it, but like, have a hit. Like literally, I walked into bars and they're like, hey, El Centro, man. El Centro is crazy. I remember trying to get a cab to El Centro and the cab drivers are like, I'm not going to El Centro. You can't even get a cab out of El Centro. El
Centro, you're in Bogota, you're saying?
Yeah.
El Centro's.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know why they were saying no. And then I come to find out, like, it's crazy.
Is that near a park, a center?
Yeah.
And you go back into the alley?
Yes. You don't have to go. You can go through the alley. You go through these streets.
You don't want to go through those alleys.
Yeah, you don't want to go through the alley.
We did go through those alleys.
I did too. Look, I went with Mark. So, I went in the craziest fucking spots. Like, yeah, I've had people pull guns on us and tasers and shit.
The last time we were in El Centro. Like we were looking, whatever, it was talent or whatever. It was at nighttime, it was the wrong time. But in this back alleys,
all abandoned buildings being.
Yeah, but it was, right. Small streets kind of.
Yeah, really
whatever.
tight streets.
But it looked like, to me, some set out of a movie. And this is real life.
A war movie.
But
right?
there was drugs on trash cans and on the ground, all kinds of different drugs for sale.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, of course, there's trash can fires because it's cold. It's probably the wintertime, so they keep it warm. But other cans had tons of cocaine bindles, had heroin balloons or whatever it had, and marijuana, and it was all just
out there.
A swap meet of drugs at nighttime. I was like, and then they put the guns on us. So why are you here? Because it's only for those people.
Yeah.
Only for the locals.
Yeah, there's no fucking tourists in Bogota or in El Centro. It's all natives. So when you're not supposed to be there, they know.
It was serious trouble because the guns was in my kidney. I
had one to my stomach in Brazil. They saw me shooting in what's that? The little strip.
Favela? No.
No, but it's a strip where...
Villa Mimosa?
Mimosa. Yeah, you're not allowed to fucking bring cameras in there. So I'm filming, and the guy comes up to me, and he pulls a gun out. But he's a cop, so he says. And he's like, he's like, I'm here to make sure...
You don't die.
Yeah. And we didn't leave. We stayed. I mean, that place is the people, the women walking naked. They're like
crazy.
naked.
Villa
Mimosa is fucking nuts.
Let it be known. Villa Mimosa is such a crazy spot for hookers. They are hanging in up the stairs, the apartment complexes on the railing, buck naked, hanging with their legs flinging, music in every alley.
He's crazy.
I mean, like 100 different
songs, beats,
amplifiers booming, right?
Yeah.
Sound.
You can't make out one song. It's just boom.
Hundreds of girls down the street. Half of them are naked. It's like a pirate. Like you came back from the 1600s into a pirate zone. And there's girls all flavors. Yeah. Dark skin, old, brown skin, young, pretty. Yeah. That place is insane, right? It's
crazy.
Villa Mimosa outside of Rio.
And you have to watch don't check it out. Be careful because you can end up that's a place, dead. It's and you're walking through piss. There's puddles of water. There's
the back
people
alleys
laying.
Are dark.
Yeah, there's people laying on this ground, drugged out.
How much are the girls?
Oh, you can get a girl for like $2, $6.
And the motel, the room might cost more.
Yeah,
it might cost $250.
He's right. Yeah.
Well, the REI is at 4 to 1 right now, so you probably get it for about $1.75.
Yeah, that's not bad. But when I'm going there, I'm trying to get them back to the hotel. Sometimes if I find 2 or 3, I take them all, and I pay them all every day. And the way it has to work is someone has to be with them daily. Someone has to have sex with them so that it's a fair exchange.
But you took them all the way home for $6?
No, I would pay them more.
But, with hotel?
But I'm talking about we get into a cab from there and we go back to where Rio, on the Copacabana.
Right.
Yeah. And they stay with me.
For how much?
Whatever they're paying, whatever they're charging, I pay them that per day.
Right.
And you know what? Want to hear what the fucked up part? And this happened with Mark. So we're doing this documentary, and I'm shooting for scenes for West Coast, Smash Pictures, a bunch of different companies. And if I find one girl, I want to go back and shoot her right away. Well, I learned that wasn't very cost productive if I have 3 guys. So I would find one, and she would be our friend, and we'd have drinks, and we'd eat, and then we'd go find another, and she would help us, and then we'd find another. So now I'm going back to the room with 4 or 5 girls. I'm not going to shoot them all that day, and I'm telling them, you're going to hang out with us. I mean, if you want, you can leave at any time. So they would stay in my room, or sometimes I'd have a production room or a production apartment. So I'd rent a place like this, and I would, that would be where the girls stayed. My gear was always in another hotel somewhere else. And I was just a tourist with a camera. If you busted in my room, I had a camera. And I've traveled smart. I move well. So that's one of the things I try to keep that I thought kept me afloat. It was a very heavy and expensive direction, but I thought it's what kept me alive as long as I've been alive. So
yeah, you have any problems out there in Brazil shooting?
Brazil, I had problems. It was a money thing. My biggest problem ever was Colombia. Never had a problem in Thailand, never. But Colombia was a huge thing where I'm in the car speeding to the airport, trying to book a flight out, throwing the phone out the window because I'm trying not to get followed. And
What happened?
Okay, so scratch where I was going, and I'll
my hood, you're messing around with. Nobody should have been known, huh?
So
Colombia,
crazy place. So I'm in Bogota. I'm shooting. I'm trying to finish a production. I have like 3 scenes to do to finish my agreement for the amount of scenes I was coming back with.
Who are you working for?
I want to say West Coast. Because I went for them so often. So I'm thinking West Coast. So I go out there. So this is the last night. I leave in the morning, but I have plenty of talent.
See, people got a lot of benefits from my sweat.
No. Well, maybe, but trust me, this was a terrible story. So I'm shooting, and at first we take stills. So I'm taking stills, and the girl I'm shooting goes, I don't want to take any more photos. I want to make picture. And I go, well, I have to turn in a certain number of pictures. So she gives me a little more leeway, and I take a few more, but nowhere near what I need. And I'm like, and she walks off and goes, I just want the money. And I go, why? I can't pay you for the money. You got to make the movie. She goes, I want to get paid. I worked. I go, no, this isn't how this works. So I go, you know what? I think I said, I'll give you something, but we just not shoot. And she goes, no. Somehow I convinced her to be okay with that. So she's in another room packing. It's a loft like this. So as I say, who's next? So I start shooting this other girl. And she's in the back yelling, making noise, slamming shit, cussing, kicking stuff, and I hear sure she's angry. So as I'm shooting, I take a couple of stills and I go take a light down and I go put it away. And I know it's getting ready time to go, but I start like I always keep my gear in one corner, but I'm starting to like tear things down. I'm looking at, it's extension cord, I'm putting that away. I take a few more pics. She's riling up the other girls. She's getting, causing some problems. So, I pay her, and she goes, no, this isn't enough. I want all my money. I go, listen, I have to take all the stills, and then we can make the movie. That's just how it works. She's like, no, I'm trying to leave.
How old is she?
23, 25, something like that. But she's a badass. So I'm trying to leave, and I'm packed up now.
Is she extra pretty or just?
She's pretty, but she's really a lot. Like one of them
scandalous.
Girls that's very high end, right? But not that attractive. Just the parts don't come together the right way. She's just not like wow, but she's she's a good looking chick. So I'm packed up, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna leave. The guy who I'm renting the place for him doesn't want me to leave. He's like, no, you can't leave. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna leave. So I have a bag that weighs my backpack, I don't know, it's like 40 pounds, 50 pounds. It's on my back. I have 2 other bags. I'm trying to get all this shit downstairs. He's at the door. The girls aren't letting me leave, or that particular girl is in the front of the line not letting me leave. So
how much was the amount to pay?
She wanted the full scene, so let's say $200, $150, whatever, $200. So I pick up a plant pot, and I act like I'm gonna throw it towards the door. I act at the door, so they all move, and I throw it, and it lands. It hits the ground before their feet, and it busts, and pieces go everywhere, and they scream, and it's like this big deal. And at that point, I'm like, open the fucking door. The dude opens the door. I'm hailing for a cab. They're picking up other plant pots and throwing it at me as I'm like trying to dip off, and I'm just like halfway down the street. It's almost like a freeway in front of us. Mark wasn't there at that day, but so I get in the cab, and now the dude that rented us a studio, so the guy who told me I can't leave, he's the goon that just makes sure that everything stays in its place and doesn't get fucked up. But the owner is calling me now on the phone, and he goes, hey, the police want to talk to you. You need to come back right away. I'm like, okay, not a problem. Where you guys at? The studio? Sure. And I'm definitely not going to the fucking studio.
Okay, hold on. You think...
You know the guy, too. You know the dude. You know the studio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Christian, yeah. Yeah.
So your experience with him wasn't that good?
It wasn't good at all. And then he was, so it wasn't good at all. But
they got to know about Colombia.
You know Papa? Papa.
I don't know.
No, the dude, the fat, heavy guy that runs the studio. Anyway, they pepper sprayed him. It got crazy.
Well,
That the big, heavy, older dude
But let
who
the
likes to
people
play
know.
with the girls and shit.
No, that's after my time. Let it be known that you do not want to get taken away by the Colombian police.
Oh, for sure. Hey, you don't want to get taken away by any police, but the Colombian
No, I'm just
police
letting the people know.
yeah,
You don't want to get taken away.
Colombia, yeah.
Because
So
anything can happen.
So I'm telling him I'm on my way back. I'm coming back. He keeps ringing my phone.
Kristen's part of ringing you?
No, he's calling me, and I still have lights there. So they're I'm never gonna. Well, so long story short, I end up paying, but I go to the hotel and I'm on Mark. He's laying in bed. I blew it up. The spot's gone. Now every other place I go to with Mark, he blows up the spot. He's either headbutting somebody or crashing through a window or busting up the furniture in the place. Mark is fired, dude. He's lit. So he this ain't his this time. I own this 100%. And I go, it's all me, but you got to get up, let's go. He's laying in bed going, I didn't do anything. I'll leave tomorrow like we're supposed to. I'm like, I'm trying to catch a flight right now. I'm like, Mark, I blew it up. Like, it's time to go. He lays in bed. I get in the cab, grab all my shit on my way. I didn't tell him where I was going. I think I told him I'm going to stay somewhere. I'm pretty wise, dude. You got to be quick with me. So I'm like, I'm just going to go to another hotel. But I was going to the airport. I was like, yeah, I'm leaving this place. So I'm on my way to the airport. He doesn't want to go. I'm telling him it's time to go. He stays there. He says the cops came and he's calling me. And that's when I got rid of the phone. But when he gets back to the States, he tells me he paid the difference. I owe him the money. He had my lights, so I gave him the money. And that's kind of how it ended. But Christian wanted me to come back. The police he says it's better if I talk to the police. He says it's way better. Don't leave. Like, talk to the police. I'm like,
Why?
you're gonna end up with my camera. You're gonna end up with all my shit. I got out of there. So that night I go to the airport. It's like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting facing this big, huge window at the airport. You know, looking out at the terminal, at the tarmac. So I'm wearing a hat. I have the brim low, and I'm looking in the reflection. And I can see anybody, but I'm low, and I'm just trying to wait. So they couldn't give me a flight that night. I missed it by 10, 15 minutes. And it was just random. I was just going to go to the airport anyway to stay. No one's going to look for me at the airport, in my mind. So he I guess, I don't know, he gets a hold of Mark and puts Mark through whatever he was going to put me through or something similar. So when Mark came back, I gave him the money. But that night, I flew out that next morning. So I lay in the cut. Next morning, I catch a bird, fly back. And when I get on that fucking plane, I'm still waiting for somebody to come up to me, or I run my passport and they're like, oh, did we talk to you for a minute? I'm waiting. I'm nervous as fuck. But I get on that plane and they're gonna tell me some assault charge or whatever they're gonna tell me. And I was really gonna I would have bashed everybody's head to get out of that place. everyone would have went down. They try to extort you.
Oh, South America is all about extortion.
Huge. And I'm like, I just want to pay you guys money.
Even though you're black, guess who you are?
American.
Stupid gringo.
Yeah.
These stupid gringos always come here.
Yeah.
They're so stupid. We are so smart.
Yeah.
They're always the same mentality.
Yeah. But if you're light skinned, it's rougher in especially Brazil. I've heard. I don't know because I'm dark skinned.
I'm Spanish, and
but you might not look Spanish. I don't think you look Spanish.
No,
you could fit in.
In Colombia, I look Spanish.
See?
I blend right in.
I have to go to Colombia with you and look at you. I'm over there because you look white out right at the gate. You do. Yeah. So anyway, I get on the plane. I get home. Mark calls me. We talk later. I pay him $200, whatever. And then he goes, in hindsight, he goes, yo, you should have just gave him the money. And I go, yeah, maybe you're right. But I didn't. And I don't like being extorted.
Yeah,
and it was a principle. And when you're there, and you know this for a fact, you get extorted every fucking turn of the coin. Someone's asking you for money, and you're just doing it because you're just, like, man, I got another 28 days here. What is this? I just make this go smooth if I give you another $2? Or, oh, you're hungry? You just got here and I have to feed you now?
It's like babysit all day long.
You brought 5 girls and I have to feed all of them because why? Everybody wants to drink at the bar because why? Because I want to, like, they want something for something. Like, and I get that, but sometimes I'm just like trying to meet them, and I meet them like, hi, I'm Bishop. Hi, I'm Sally. Great. I'm gonna go shoot Sally. I'll call her, and she'll call you if I want to use you. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're hungry.
No, they
Sure. Here's $20. Have a pizza, and I just like.
What? At the hotels, you know, in Rio, outside of Rio, and Colombia. Oh, you know, people don't know, but a lot of these South American have hotels, but they're like motels. But you sneak into the motel, you drive your car, and one guy meets you. You know, you go into the garage, and you go into the room.
That's Colombia.
No, Brazil too. Same shit, right? And you go in there because South Americans are always doing dirty stuff. They're always cheat on their spouses. So they always need, sneaky places to go. So you don't have to be seen. You go into the spot and you can order the food through the little teeny window that's not really a window. It's so small that nobody can see anybody. Yeah. You just give them the money for the room and maybe ID. I don't know. Can't remember. In Colombia,
no ID. You just put the money in the slot and they put the key.
No, there's people there. No.
Yeah, but you don't see anyone.
This is the old days.
Okay.
This is 1998, 99, 2000, 2005, but the thing is that the girls would always load up everything on the menu. The food, the alcohol. Pretty soon you got a bill for like $500 and the room's only $100. All the time. I used to shoot my orgies, big boba Brazilian orgy in Brazil, and then we're in Colombia, but it's always the same story. It's a babysitting job, It
is.
But if by chance you have an agent that is strong, smooth, and rough, you know what I mean? He can keep those girls in check. I had a guy in Colombia. He'd keep them, tell me, shut up. In Brazil, Paulo was great. The original dark-skinned Paulo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
He was beautiful. And that's, those are the people you need. These are the secrets of shooting. That's what this is. This is called the porn puzzle. I give you these little pieces of information that are so, I don't know.
They're monumental. I don't think they're as important today as they were then, but now it's just interesting facts on how you came to make the movies.
The history of the mob, all those pieces were, worth so much money,
And now they're not. Now they're great to hear, but it doesn't play the same. Yeah. Brazil got me off of agents. I stopped using agents once I got to Brazil. My second tour, I went to Brazil and I went maybe Thailand, Brazil, and then in Thailand you could use agents. They're cool. The girls are chill. The temperaments are cool. Nobody's flipping out, and you have to drop the ID. Like it's for me, it was really safe. I felt great in Thailand. In Brazil, I didn't feel as comfortable, and they made me stop wanting to use agents when I just saw them just always ask me for money for nothing, or I give them. They do the scene. We agree on however many reais, and then they want an extra. They need a bus home, or they need to pay for their babysitter, the daughter, and I'm gonna take it out of what I gave you, already.
South America is rough.
It is.
That's what you got to know. South America is known to be rough, and it used to be rougher. But on one point, some of those girls are just unbelievable.
They're beautiful.
Beautiful, right? I mean, of all the girls, all the places you can go, for me, South America has the total package. How do you feel about that?
I feel, I agree. I like the people in Thailand. I love the Thai. I love their food. I love the weather. Great, I love the women. The temperament for me is everything. You don't have to be that beautiful. And I don't think Thai women aren't. I think they're very beautiful.
Sometimes.
I think they're very, I don't think they're as curvy. They're definitely not as curvy. I think the girls are more luscious in Colombia than Brazil. People think Brazil is it. I don't think it's it. Not as it is Colombia. I think Colombia, the women are built way thicker, way.
I'd tell you where the prettiest are.
Where are they prettiest?
Venezuela.
I couldn't tell you. I've never been there, but I can imagine.
They won Miss Universe so many times.
I've been to Puerto Rico, and those women there are gorgeous too.
Venezuela's big.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico's small. Tiny. I'm Puerto Rican, but it's very small.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, South America, sometimes when you're with a pretty woman, right? It's always a hassle.
It's always there's no sometimes.
Yeah, always
it's always a hassle. Yeah,
So,
you got to wage your bets. Do you want a simple life or do you want the complicated? But do you want to be that guy that's got the trophy? It's a mix. and it's tough.
South America, pretty girls,
No trouble.
not so professional.
Yeah.
It's drama. Yeah. It's the way it is. You know what I mean? But anyways, so people know that shooting in South America, in Brazil, is fun though. I mean, you know, it is cool. Colombia is okay, but I thought it was more fun to shoot on the beaches in Brazil. I used to rent, you know, villas and bring I had big productions, you know what I mean? We'd bring 7 or 8 guys with us, you know, we'd bring the girls from inside Rio or something. We'd bring 10, 12 girls with us, you know, keep them at a villa, have them trapped and locked down while we shot all the movies. And shoot on those beaches and those cool locations. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have a good time. I ran into your crew one time. I was down there, and I was shooting with Mark, and I think Jacob was out there. I ran into Nat Turner. When I'm out away and I run into people,
Crazy,
yeah, it's kind of cool. But I didn't know they were going to be there.
But so you ran into Mark because Mark's working for me. You're saying?
Yeah. And I ran into Nat Turner. I go to a bar and there's Nat Turner. I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, we took Nat to Thailand, I think.
You took him to Brazil too, right?
Probably.
Yeah. I think that's why I ran into him. I only took LT to Thailand and Mark. That was it. I took LT.
So you like Thailand, shooting there more?
I like there more, yeah.
Thailand,
easy. It was way easier. Thailand, nobody was trying to break me over the head. Like I had girlfriends there and I would date the bartender and she would stay with me and she would help me and we got along and I'd pay her and she would do it, she would keep the girls in check and it wasn't hard to keep them in check. All you had to do is keep food in the room and keep nail polish and hair shit and they were cool. They wanted to watch TV. I'd have a nice room and they wanted to take baths because they didn't have tubs where they came from. They had showers. So they fought to take baths and watch TV. And they would just be quiet and chill. The girls in Brazil are digging through your bags when you turn around and you got to lock everything up and they pick up shit that's part of the fixtures and, try to take it or destroy it because they're angry. And Thailand, no one's trying to do drugs. It's weird. None of my girls wanted to get high in Thailand. None of them wanted to drink. They were cool if there was liquor. They just wanted this money I was offering. And they were cool. And they would wait it out. And I would have my girl, Barbie, can you get the girls some chicken? And ask them whatever they want. And they were just happy to have the food and the drinks and sit on this nice sofa and watch TV up in the 24th floor. But they were just great with that. In Brazil, you have to do all kinds of shit.
Try shooting the Brazilian orgies like I did.
Oh, nuts.
With all those girls that want to talk crazy, and get crazy after 2 or 3 hours.
What about taking hours? Yeah, they get crazy.
You know me.
Oh, I know, they get crazy.
When I shoot an orgy, when I was shooting, I'm like Hitler. Right?
Oh, really?
You shut the fuck up. You move there. And these girls are like, what do I do? Yeah, I keep them in check.
Oh, yeah. I never did that. And that was probably that was my problem. That was my problem.
But believe me, after they leave, they're not happy. But hey, they're not easy to control. When I shot my orgies, people want to run off my orgies, right? You see my Brazilian orgy, you don't want to know what's even harder than a Brazilian orgy? I'll let you know.
What's that?
Brown and round.
That's harder?
Way harder. Because you got all these black girls and black guys from different areas, different gangs, right? Some in college, from the street, you know what I mean? Girls and guys, everybody starts, fuck your side, fuck you. Yeah. And you're like, holy shit, man, this is rough. Come on, man, this be cool, right? It gets gnarly.
Yeah.
That's harder because after a few hours, 4 or 5 hours, people want to kill me. You know what I mean?
I had some of the Brazilian girls want to kill me. Do you know how they dye their hair on their legs? They don't shave their legs. They want the blonde hair on their legs. That's really.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, so they dye it?
Yeah, they dye it. They bleach it so that it's blonde. Yeah. So here's the deal. I'm like, shave that shit.
It looks crazy.
They do not want to shave their hair legs, and
they dye it.
They peroxide it. It turns blonde. It's golden.
No, I've seen it a million times.
Yeah, I don't want that in my movies.
Wow.
Dude, we bang heads off of that. Yeah. That's a big deal.
I saw it. Yeah, I thought
that
it was
starts
natural.
off the whole day fucked up. That starts the whole day fucked up. As soon as you're like, gotta cut your shit on your legs. They're like, no.
South America. So what about Europe? You've shot in Europe, right?
No. I've been to Europe. I've been to Germany and London,
Oh, yeah?
but I haven't shot there.
No.
I shot for family business, the Showtime show with Seymour. That's what got me out there. I was out there doing that.
Okay. Yeah. So your time was, how long did you work for Seymour? 3
or 4 years.
Yeah. And then you just started moving on to other companies?
Well, no, he fired me. Here's there's a big problem, and I'm glad I can set this record straight. When people would look at me and see I'm driving an Escalade, and I had a nicer apartment than when I first started. I was moving up slowly. This was before the house. They assumed that I was making all this money because I was on Showtime. Truth of the matter, I was getting paid the least. And I was in like 9 out of 10 episodes, prominent. I wasn't just like, I hear a voice.
I saw you in an episode.
Yeah, I'm in there in 9 out of 10
I said, what's this black guy doing in this show?
With all these Jews, with all these Jews, right? So I'm in there, and so Adam is the guy in charge of who gets paid what. So,
is he getting a budget? Yeah, how did that work? Did he get a budget?
So he gets
for
a budget on salaries, and so depending on who he wants to pay what, it's up to him.
Showtime gave him a budget?
Yeah, he's got a budget. He gets to allocate where the funds go.
Did he get paid?
Not necessarily. I don't know necessarily he gets the budget, but they go, here's what we're allowing for salaries, and let's say it's $100. So he's going to decide he's going to get 50 of those 100 right out the gate, if not more. Everyone else is his family. I'm the only outsider, so I get what's left. And it's just a gratuitous amount. So they want a lot of your time to shoot. Much? Very little.
$100?
No,
$1,000?
like 5,000. But that was almost like what they would offer me a season. So that's like slave wages. But they needed me a lot, and they wanted me in it.
So you were in a lot of shots.
I'm in a lot of shots, and they don't pay you per shot. They just give you a flat rate. And so it wasn't, people would see me with the car in the house and spending money, but it was work I was putting in. It had nothing to do with family business.
But you're still getting paid a great amount for the editing, right?
No, so that has nothing to do with, he was, I want to say commissioned to do the show, meaning they saw his story when he went to court over the obscenity law, and then they wanted to make a show around that. It wasn't him saying, let's make a show. So it was a producer that had to end with Showtime that decided to make the show, and Showtime decided to buy it. So that's how that came about. It wasn't Adam going, let's make this show. So these producers are following us around, and they're making this show of us shooting these movies. So us making the movies have nothing to do with the show. They just shoot us making the movies so that it's part of the show. Yeah.
But you're paid a good amount
for shooting,
for editing.
But not being part of the show is garbage.
Like
they weren't paying for that.
No, you're not stupid. You want to get paid, yeah.
Yeah. So in a lot of times, so after the first season, I even taught them things, because there was times when I'd get on set and they were filming me white balancing 2 cameras or labeling tapes for the scene, getting ready, prepping, and I'm like, there's a girl upstairs and she's naked, getting ready. You might want to film that. Like, why are you filming me? Like, this isn't even interesting.
Right.
Go get her. She's on the phone with her boyfriend telling her she's in school right now. She's about to suck a dick. Yeah, so they weren't paying me a lot. And so he had the right, he had the privilege to decide where the funds went. And I think he just picked, it's his mom, it's his son, it's his cousin. He just decided to give them the money, which is cool. Yeah. But it sucked for me because I was in more episodes than his mom. I was in more than his son, and equal to Stevie. I was in there a lot.
I mean, I thought the cousin Stevie had a good name. And he got kind of popular.
Yeah, he did. He picked up a lot of steam. He had his own series of movies, which I shot and edited. Those were good, yeah.
Did they get, what did they get paid? What did Showtime give them?
I don't know.
No?
No, I don't know.
What would you think?
I had no idea. No. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I would just guess if I were to tell you.
What did you think of the show?
I thought it was cool. I thought it could have been better. I understood what they did. I understood why they did what they did, like the dating thing, and and I thought it was interesting. But I thought it could have been better. I thought it could have been a little more risque. I thought it could have been a little funner. But it was more about his life and him, and I think what he does is interesting, but I didn't think he was an interesting person.
Right.
I mean, so
he's
I thought, he's very calm, and I don't think that makes good for camera. So we did 3 seasons. I always make a joke because the season that I wasn't in was when they got dropped. And so I always say, hey, you got rid of the black token and now you're not on TV anymore. Yeah, who got fucked, right? So I always joke with Stevie about that. I'm like, yeah, so Adam and I bumped heads a lot. Like we didn't really, it wasn't a smooth sailing. And it was funny because some people would go, he's a dick, huh? Like people would see me and go, I'd be like, I wouldn't say that, but he's a little rough,
Really?
Yeah, him and I, we worked well together. Like I think we made good music at the end of the day, but we broke a lot of eggs to make those omelets, a lot. We just had differences. First of all, he barked a lot. And right, you can't bark at me. I have a lawyer. I had a lawyer recently for some thing. This case I'm doing against these people, and the lawyer. I came in the morning and he raised his voice. You can't raise your voice to me. Like I'm gonna fucking snap. And Adam would, where's the? And I would go, who the fuck are you talking to? That's how the whole day would be. He'd be yelling shit upstairs, and I'm fucking doing it now, yelling shit downstairs, and we would just it wasn't healthy. But he talked to, that's how he talked to people. Right. So I wasn't down with that. There's a lot of cats that do that, but you have to draw your line. And my line was, you can't talk to me in no way.
For sure. It's kind of a weird thing when you're the boss, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you see somebody make the same mistake again and again and again. You give them leeway, and then finally you're so much built-in anger. You're just like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you thinking, man? You know what I mean?
That's not bad.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying.
If you said that to me, that's not bad. And when I make a mistake, I'll own it. But you can't just be
talking
shit to me. Like it's just not gonna work. I'm a grown man. I'm gonna fucking fight you. We're gonna have words. We're gonna move. You can't. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna ask you, hey, chill, or I'll walk away. I'll take the high road. That's my favorite road.
Yes. At this age and the state of people's mentality, right? I think in the laws, right? The best idea is just to turn your back
and walk away.
Not like the old days when I grew up, or when I was younger in the 90s and 80s. You could have a lot of fun fucking somebody up.
Yeah, you could just cock back on them once and let them know. One good one, they'll know.
Well, I'll give them a few, right? Yeah. Light them up. But I'm scared to death right now.
It's a tough time, yeah.
Plus, I'm older, but you know what I mean? People are not the same.
They're not. But
yeah.
So yeah, we didn't see eye to eye. So one day he called me in and he goes, hey, let's not do this anymore. And I go, okay, cool. I was cool. And I went left, he went right, and I haven't seen him since. And it's been, I don't know how long that's been. It's been
Never spoke?
Over 10, 12, 15 years ago. It's been a while.
Never spoke again?
Never spoke again. I actually just saw a bunch of his masters I have and a bunch of raw tapes. And I would like to get him to him. I don't mind calling him. I would. I just haven't really had anything to say to him. Maybe I'll call him and see if he wants this shit.
I saw him on LinkedIn.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure I have his number. Yeah, All right, I know Maury's his girlfriend's number. I can get old cousin Stevie. I have his mom's number. I can get hold of him. But
so then, see, after Adam, you went to.
I was independent. I was independent even when I was with Adam. So I learned really early through working with West Coast that I don't need a hub. I could be my own hub, and I remember. Working for West Coast, I started doing post-production for years, and I did that forever. And I remember working, they moved and got a new studio, and I just told the story to James, and that's the owner of West Coast, and he got a kick out of this. So they were paying me $1,000 a week, and I had to do one edit a week. And I came from making
one movie,
one edit a week. And I was like, $1,000 a week, I would get this. So they built a studio and this nice desk, and they had all this Media 100 shit put in. And prior, Terry, the production manager, was like, hey, what software would you like on those Macs? And I'm on Final Cut Pro. I didn't really know that one either, and I was a PC-based guy, but they wanted Macs, and I go do Final Cut Pro because I knew someone that knew it and they could help me, but I didn't know shit about Media 100. Even though I worked with it, I didn't know how to.
Is that like Avid or something?
It's like Avid. It's another editing software, right? So Terry calls me, goes, man, we got the studio all set up now. The monitors are in. You could start. The guy's gonna be here. You plugged in the software. You could start. So I said, all right, sounds good. So I come in. It's all Media 100. Two big, thick-ass books like this are on the desk. I don't know shit about Media 100. So I close the door and I call the 1-800 number and I go, yo, I need to figure out how to turn this shit on. I don't even know how this works. The door flies open and it's Terry and James. And they're like, hey, this is my boss, James. I go, hey, James, we met before. He goes, my boss wants to see what you can do. Edit this tape today. Drops this little tape on the desk. I'm looking at the tape.
Oh,
I have no idea how to get that fucking information.
That's like a dangerous street
computer.
fight.
I don't know how to get it on the computer. I have no idea. I don't know how to edit it. So they leave. I shut the door. Terry pops back in. Leave the door open. And he doesn't knock. He just keeps popping in. I'm like, fuck. So
is there some type of energy going on when they want to catch you
dirty,
they
want to
dirty?
know. Yeah, I think black people in general, they just don't trust right away, so they walk around like they sleep with one eye open, and and that was that mentality.
I see my girlfriend sleep with two eyes open.
That's the mentality. So they're not like, hey, just get it done. They're like, what you doing in there? Like, I don't know, what am I gonna walk out with a deck, like 40-pound piece of equipment? So, and I understand the temperature, so I'm just like kind of walking on eggshells. So I call the guy, he leaves a sticky of his phone number who installed all this shit. And I call him and he kind of tells me a little bit. I flip through the book, I get the media on the computer, and then they leave. And I stay and I wait and I'm editing. I'm trying to edit and they never come back. They go for the day. So I call this guy who was editing for me, Ryan, and I go, Ryan, I need Final Cut Pro. He goes, the software. I go, yeah. He goes, I'll burn you this. And I go, I'm gonna come to your house and show me how to cut, erase. I need 5 tools. I know how to edit. I just don't know how to use Max, and I don't know this system. And I go, I need you to show me a couple of things. He goes, okay. So I go to his house after work.
What year is this, you think?
Maybe 2000.
People have to know,
99.
Right? That Final Cut or this type of software
is brand new to the world.
So you at home might think, oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, he should have knew that. But
go back to 2000.
And there wasn't a strong user base. I'm going to let you know right now. Yeah. A user base is a group of people that share the same software that you could call on the fly and be like, how do you do a ripple cut? Because there's no YouTube. Just get that too. There's no this. So you're on their own, right? There's no
scary.
Google it. That's not happening. So I call him. I come over. I take a sticky and I write like D plus space delete. L fast forward. R like I write down as much info I could fit on one side of a sticky, and I get there in the morning early before everyone else, and I cut that scene in Final Cut Pro. There's 2 monitors, there's 2 systems. They don't know which is which. So when they come in, I kick back and I press play. And they don't know that they don't know I never edited on that Mini 100, not one fucking tape ever. I just installed Final Cut on this and then on that, and I just did everything Final Cut. They didn't know, they didn't even care as long as it was cut. They never knew to look up in a corner and it says what software. I don't think it even mattered. I pressed play, the shit played. I pressed play, the shit played, it worked. It was it. So they kept bringing me work. So after the first 2-3, after the first 2-3 months, I'm there all night. I'm staying there. I have a refrigerator there now. I have a key. I'm coming and going when I want. I have a key to the front door. I have the key to my office, and I just come in. I do my thing. I go pick up my dog. I come back. Me and my dog kick it in there. I have a girl come by every now and again. We hang out in there, and by the time everyone comes in the morning, I'm up and fresh, ready to go. I'm doing it, but I'm a slow editor. I'm very meticulous, and I'm trying to get it right. And I'm working with guys. A lot of these guys, people, let me let you know, you like the West Coast shit, you love the porn shit, but 99% of these cameramen don't know camera. So they're shooting their feet, they're shooting, they don't know when to turn it off. The microphone sometimes isn't on, the date stamp is on the tape, and it's shit like that I'm fixing, and I'm cleaning that shit up.
And I'm just guessing, right? Because I'm very meticulous and very careful on the people I hire to shoot my camera. Because I know camera. I shot a lot of stuff myself, most of my movies in the beginning. But I'm guessing that West Coast didn't know enough people to hire, so they got some amateur guys fucking the shit up.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of guys. And they weren't white balancing. There's a lot of things that are important to make the picture look good that they weren't doing. So a lot of my work is cleanup. So And that's very tedious and it's very time consuming. So they're like, it's $1,000 a week, but I got to complete a movie in a week. So that's not a problem. I could do a movie in like a day and a half. So now if it's shot right, if it's all fucked off, it's tough. And that means going hard all night and working. It's not like chilling. It's grinding, but I can do it.
People talking over the audio, right?
Oh, TV in the background, playing music, everything. People that aren't, like, they'd invite their friends. And so while they're fucking, there's a girl in the background walking around and you can't show any of that. So you got to figure out how to cut around it. And there's only one take. So you dump 90% of it. Yeah, it's a lot of shit.
Logos everywhere.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, man?
Yeah. So you get all that and then you got to make a movie. So $1,000 a week. And one day, 3 months in, maybe 4, 5 months in, Terry busts through the door and he goes, hey, my boss wants to know if you want to work from home. Because they were paying me benefits and health and all that. And he goes, he wants to know if you want to work from home. His incentive was to cut that out. Oh. And my incentive was take them taxes out and just give me the straight K right off the ground.
Hell
so
yeah.
he was like...
that's $250 extra.
Yeah. So he was like, he goes, you want to be independent, you want to work from home? And I was like, let me get back to you. And he came back and I said, so in 1 week, if I do 2 movies, how much money would I make? He goes, $2,000. And it wasn't good enough for me. I was like, what if I did 3 or 4 movies? 3 or 4,000. I could do that a week? He's like, we'll pay you $1,000 a movie. I was like, see ya. I went home. Actually, I don't even think I went home. I went to, maybe it was Circuit City and bought 2 more computers and hired some people that I was already working with. We're like, yo, here's the plan. I'm gonna give you $400, $100 every scene you cut. So we were doing 5 scene movies. So they'd walk away. And you had to do a trailer. So I'd give you $500. You have to do it in a week. You have to start on Monday and then and so they were shooting 12 a month. And they already had an editor that was away, James, but they wanted to start doing things in-house. So I was that guy. So I was taking 3, 4 a week, and I was just stacking, and then I was getting guys to do it for 300.
3 or 4 a week, wow.
Yeah, well, I was doing up to 5 a week. And then I was doing Seymour and Cousin Stevie. And then what was happening was Alexander DeVoe, Mandingo, Jack Napier, Justin Slayer, all of them were doing their own movies. And they wanted me to do all the editing. So I was hiring people. I was doing posts everywhere, and West Pumper. Everyone came.
Pumpers too?
Everyone came to my house. I cut on everybody's movie.
Brian Pumper was on the show, you know.
Yeah, you were telling me. That guy is great. I love that guy.
Great,
So he'd be laying on my couch with editing his movies, and Slayer would come over and bring 3 girls, and I'm editing his movie, and HJ and Mandingo.
Slayer's buddy, right?
Yeah, it was his like sidekick. That's what I call them. They're friends. I don't know their relationship, but every black dude that put out his own independent film came to my house. Yeah, so I was the Coca-Cola of editing because West Coast was the Coca-Cola Black. They were what? I'm
the Coca-Cola Black. I started
way before them. Yeah, but for some reason, like I didn't know TTBoy until I met Mark. Then I didn't know there was something else going on. I really only thought it was West Coast. I didn't know there was another company, and then I learned of you through Mark. Mark would go to wherever with you, or I don't know, he would shoot something and he would come to West Coast to sell it. And then, I don't know if he went to you first, but through him I learned of you because he would come to James, and James didn't hire him to do the scenes here in the States, I don't think, or if he did, not often. But that broad shit in Budapest and Philippines, that I was getting that. I was cutting for Mike Stefano, I was cutting everybody, like a lot of dudes. Who's the other guy Stefano used to run with? He just passed away recently.
Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon Irons. Yeah, those guys were great. I love Brandon. Brandon was totally cool. Those guys would come and kick it with me all the time. Yeah, Stefano was really cool.
Yeah, Stefano's
he was mad cool. Real cool dude, down to earth.
So you're making money now?
Money, yeah, I'm making bank.
How much you making?
I'm making
month?
Over 100,000. I was doing, there was
over 100,000 per month?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. With that, and then I started shooting. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, it was good money.
Over 100,000. You're making 1.2 or more a year.
I wouldn't even tell you. Like, there's some months it was ridiculous. Some months were like ridiculous. Yeah,
wow, that's
like
great
crazy. Money. Yeah, because Yeah, I would shoot 2 for West Coast, and their budgets were. I wasn't getting any less than 18 or 20, and I would split that up, and then with the scenes. But then I would learn how to save and how to make money shooting, trim a little bit here and there. Yeah,
5,000 you keep sometimes
out of a $20,000 budget. No, I'd do better than that. That would be a bad day if I only did 5. That'd be upside down if I
You're
did
talking
5.
to the king
of pinch. Yeah, I was pinching but I was also doing mainstream. Like it was a time when if you saw my work, people just wanted to fuck with me, and that was a good time. I knew technology. Like people come to like this guy who's texting me now about while we're here. He hired me to shoot an award show and just down the street from here the other day because I know cameras. I watched videos on this shit, lenses and lighting, and I'm not the best, but I know how to get a good look, and I know where the mic should be, and I know what the levels should look like, and so that's an important person to have on set. So I would go on set and like, why are you shooting? You see that? The fireplace is pretty, but you see it's made of marble, and you can see the reflection of your lights, right? And you're wearing a camera light, and you see when you get close what that does to the, and you there's certain things I don't do. You're zooming. The eye doesn't zoom naturally, so let's not zoom. Let's zoom to get our framing, and then just don't zoom. Like zoom to move the lens. Don't make this part of your fucking production. Like, and there's things that.
But sometimes zooms are okay, but right, totally.
Yeah, never. Okay, do not zoom.
Not like a movement and a zoom when you're pushing out or something.
Never,
they zoom all the time.
Never zoom. I know you like zooming. I don't.
I don't zoom much, but I don't like zooming for close-ups or anything. Really.
I know you don't like close-ups. You used to tell me about the claustrophobic, and I like that. Like, I like that.
For a hardcore shot, I have. I showed you. I have 3 to 4 shots. You just circulate those, so you can, see something. Jack up. I mean, wide shots, close-ups, whatever.
I know you like it wide.
No, I like close-ups too. Remember, it's a formula. Close up the face, close up on the hardcore, a medium, and then a wide. Those are the main formula for shooting.
I learned a lot from this guy. He makes it a class. It's not like, make me something good. I don't know what I want, but you just got to look good. Which, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Nothing. But TT will say, hey, put a girl on the sofa, look, this is where the camera should be. This is where her head is. And that's something you could walk away with. That's something you could go home and you could put that to use versus just give me something good. I don't want to see the guy's balls, but you're like, and after a while you get it. It's basic, but some people are very particular. Usually the producers have a way, and it's their way only. The guys that are just producers, they have a lot more flexibility. They're never really in it. They don't get it.
They don't know,
Yeah, that's different for them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so you're making this is beautiful, right? I mean, you're just got to be so excited.
I came from
$1 million,
$30,000 a year, and then I was making good money.
See what the gods did for you? They led you down the porno road, right? Like, is that just some crazy dream, or is it a fantasy? What do you attribute it to?
I attribute it to, I think if you're always grinding and you're producing, so it's about having results. That's like this thing with you, people could talk about things, but the guys that actually do the things is what really makes the difference and sets the character. I think if you put something out there, there's only a chance of something coming back from that. Like if I talk about Ransom and I don't do a Ransom, the movie, then nothing can show from that. I can't get anything from that. But if I put something out there, then something can come back.
Is that the laws of attraction?
I think that's the laws of
physics,
physics more than attraction. I think you have to do something to get something back.
Or the laws of attraction, possibly? Or is the energy output? When you push that energy, because it takes energy to get it, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to say we're made of, I'm not a scientist, but whatever we push out there to get stuff done, the universe may say, hey, if you think smart and use it just right, your power, they're going to attract
more
something to you. Right?
Well, the analogy I always try to tell people is fishing. Even though you have 2 hands, you can have more than 1 pole and more than 2 poles in the water. So the more hooks you put out there, the more chances you're going to catch fish. It's not likely you're going to catch a fish in all of them at the same time. You may have to sacrifice one for the other. But if you put 5 poles in the water and you put 5 worms on 5 hooks, you have a chance of catching something more than not if you have just one hook and one worm.
But then on the flip side of that one analogy, if you have one pole with the biggest lake of fish, right? The big fish, the biggest lake of fish, and they just, you have a dry fish. It's a crazy world. You always got to think, be very careful with your time, and your mind. But so this is for me, this has got to be like so fucking exciting, because I like money too. It's got to be like, because with money comes a lot of pussy.
Yes. So and that's great times. Like, we all want money. Everyone wants a woman and pussy.
Oh, not one woman. We want extra.
Yeah,
women.
you want to.
What's one woman going to really do for you?
Yeah, it depends on where you are in life. If you're young and fun, then more the merrier.
If you have dragon blood, though.
Yeah, you got to have dragon blood.
No, if you have dragon blood, then you need...
You need a lot of shit going on. Right. Pussy, girls, money.
So how many girls were you hitting a week?
I wasn't really chasing a lot of pussy. I had girls, but with editing and production, for me, you just had to always be fucking focused. So I would take like a weekend off. I'd have a girl from San Diego where I used to live come up. She'd stay the weekend. Or I would party. Yep.
Without drugs?
Without. Yeah, I would get down for the weekend.
Cocaine?
Come Monday morning.
Cocaine?
No, not much of coke, but I used to do ecstasy here and there. But I was pumping on that crazy shit. Right. And then we did coke. When we ran out of ecstasy, we did coke. Whatever we could find at certain times. We would go to like Last Man Standing. It was a club that opened at like 8 o'clock in the morning and closed at 2 p.m. So it's a Sunday, you're in line at going to a club, and you'd been up all night already, and you go to the after hours, and then you go to the after hours, and you go to a club that starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, all black. No windows. You're just in there. The music's just going, and you're fucking coked out of your brain, and shit's just, everyone's partying.
So you're really not, you don't want to fuck all the girls, just like one or two at a time? Is that your
To
style?
be honest, I didn't really dab a lot with it. This is going to fuck people up, but I didn't really fuck a lot of girls in the business.
Really?
No.
Really? In a good time. When it's bad time, it's different.
In a good time, even in a good time. I worked for this guy, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he was kind of sleazy when I first started. He's one of the guys that would like let the girl do the scene. And these are girls off the street. They weren't industry girls. He'd get a girl off the street who was down on her luck, and he'd offer like $300 to do all this fucking shooting.
Really? He'd
shoot her walking in the door. He'd shoot her on the phone, smoking cigarettes, taking a piss, taking a shit. And he'd have me, I was the camera guy, so he'd be like, go in there. And then if she wasn't resistant, I would shoot it. If she was like, can you leave? Or I'm talking to my boyfriend or my husband, like, I would leave respectively.
Who's this guy? You can't say a word?
No,
what company?
He's just I'll get back to that. No, because it's his name. So he was the guy that was like, she would say, don't come in my mouth, and he would come in her mouth. Because he thought it would look, that was what he was aiming for. And then he would cut up this content, girls peeing, go here. Girls on the phone naked, go. Girls smoking cigarettes, girls.
Not Max.
No. But he cut up all this content. It was genius for doing it. But he shot them from the minute they walked on set, signing the release to the minute they left, and it was just tiring. And then he's the guy at the end of the day that would say, well, the performance was not what I was expecting, and so instead of the 3, we'll give you 2. He was that guy. So real sleaze bucket. And that right out the gate made me not really want to, he was also the talent, but it made me kind of like, I just felt sorry for a lot of the girls at that stage. And it was not the best look for me working with him, but he paid me, and I was living in my car at the time. That's when I first started. This is in between the Matt Rock times, and so I took what I can get.
But the $1 million. So
yeah.
But with the girls, so you're not really.
So no, I'm fucking girls not in porn. Like, I'm not going to porn parties. I can get off on that all day. Yeah. I'll go out to the club and bring girls home, and that was that all day. I was into that all day. But the business, I wasn't really into it.
Really?
Not at all. I had girls asked me out.
Really? Wow.
And I was like, nah, I'm cool.
Wow. Really?
And James also taught me that too. Like I watched somebody doing better than me going, hey, this is what I'm doing. I didn't have a problem following suit. We go out of the country, I'm all in all day long. Mm-hmm. I would have girls in my room waiting for me to finish shooting so I could go play.
But not in America.
Not in America.
Which girls did you which stars did you mess around with? I mean, you had to mess around with a couple.
Like literally like 2.
Who? Oh, no way.
I want to say America.
I thought I heard that name. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
light skin, pretty tall chick, real nice booty, soft skin,
You
really
like him
long
kind of
hair.
slim, kind of.
No, it wasn't that I liked her. Like she came to my house with Slayer to. I was editing and Slayer brought her, and then she was there to watch the edit, and then he starts fucking her, and he's like, "Yo, film it." And so here we are. I don't want to fucking shoot in my house, but I'm filming. It's kind of cool. And so then he fucks her. We shoot the scene. She goes and takes a shower. And when she comes out, she gets out of the shower and starts sucking my dick. That's like how I got introduced to shooting, or being fucking girls on set. But I was cool not even having that. I was like, I just want to. When can I get my check? Really? That's my mind was like, well, where's my money in all this? Because this is my time, and I don't need a blowjob right now. I need to finish this movie so I can get my money. Like that, I'm always about the money. Yeah. I didn't keep like my mental tabs were how I knew who paid me how much. So if I had your movies on my computers, I need to get them off because that's how I got paid. You're not getting the movie until I get the money, and so I needed to get the money. That was my focus. It wasn't about the girls. It was about the money and getting paid.
Well, that's probably why you made $1 million a month, a year. I mean, I mean 1.2 or because that's a level to hit, and that's a great level. So congratulations on that to you. The girls, you know what I mean? Which girls in the business you thought were unreal? Which white, black, whatever, which porno star girls did you say, whoa, that is a hell of a performer. That is a beautiful girl. That girl's unreal. Which girls can you say?
I don't know. I thought Belladonna was unreal. It was always, West Coast shot this series called Black Cravings.
No, I remember. 4 ways, I mean.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I thought the girls that participated in that were pretty resilient. Like they took on a lot of big digs. And to me, that was
a little knockoff of Jake's movie.
Yeah, maybe so. Oh. But the point was that to me, that like when I watched porno prior to West Coast, it was the 70s, 80s movies, and there were films. I didn't know about Gonzo. And then when I saw Gonzo, I was like, oh, okay, it's changed. But when I saw the dicks on those guys, I was like, oh, they're not faking that. Because there was a rumor, there's a big rumor in porn, it's not so much now, but there was a big rumor that it was fake, that the girls were faking it, the guys were it wasn't always real penetration, they were just cheating. And then when I saw the West Coast shit, the girl on a fucking blanket in a backyard getting served.
By 12, 13 inches.
Yeah, by sledgehammer, Wesley Pipes, everybody, Valentino, and they're all bitch and spitting on her. And I was like, oh, this is pretty real. And I see how she comes. And the girls, the beauty of those scenes were that the girls were 115, 105 pounds and just wet, full fed wet. And then they were getting pummeled by these 200-pound, 150-pound dudes. Just couldn't wait to get in there. And they were just going to hammer because you waited. And when you got in, you made it count, and they went hard. And I used to go, that's real. And I loved the music they had, and I just felt, I just like, yo, this is cool. It's like they made their trailers look like music videos. It was colors, and even though at one point at the end that looked corny, in the beginning it was cool because nobody was doing split screen, and the beats were by rappers, and they had rap songs that were. When I saw that, I was like, and maybe that was copied from some other great people, maybe like yourself, but I didn't know.
Jake especially.
Jake, yeah.
Jake Steed,
Yeah.
But.
And I just saw that and I was like, yo, this is pretty cool. And that was it. I was hooked.
So what, Belladonna? And
I thought Belladonna.
Anybody else?
I thought Flower Tusi. It was pretty much girls.
White girls.
White girls, yeah. So on the black track, I thought Jada Fire was.
I did Jada Fire's first scene.
Oh, you did?
She worked for Blackstreet Hookers number 11, right? I wrecked her, right? Because I'm a maniac, especially in those days. This is probably 1998, right? I'm a maniac, right, in my prime, you know, and she didn't come back in the business for 2 or 3 years later.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, we had a good scene, you know what I mean? But but she was.
I didn't know that.
It was interesting. Right?
Yeah, and she was cool. I liked her. She's great. She was great.
What about Roxy, Pinky, Cherokee? Any of those?
None of those. I mean, those girls were great. And they did great scenes, but I don't think
the passion, huh?
No. I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. I feel, and I'm saying this from experience, so you can be a fan all you want. I always felt the black girls didn't go that hard for the black producers. I always felt they didn't, you know, I don't mean all of them. I think I got great scenes out of a lot of them, but I always felt when I saw them on other sets, I always felt they went a little bit harder.
Really?
Yeah, I always thought that in my head.
Maybe
like if I asked, and another thing too is also me. I'd have a harder time asking a black girl to crawl on the floor and lick the sperm off of the toilet seat.
And a white girl.
Yeah, the white girl would just that would be doing that anyway. Yeah.
They're easier to control.
Yeah, they would want to do that. You couldn't even stop them. Like spit swapping and like when I'm working with Adam, it's like cum swapping, and they do a cream pie, and then the other chick hang underneath her, and then she squirts it in her mouth. Black girls weren't. Yeah, black. Nobody's doing. You know, Alexander DeVoe shot a little bit of that, but the girls don't want to do that. They don't want their hair pulled. They don't want to get hit too hard. They don't want to be drug around. And the white dudes grab them and drag them around, and it's cool. But maybe my black talent didn't want to do that to the black women. Also, I don't know where that clash was, but you know, it was different. But the white chicks, man, if you can imagine it, they would do it.
Yeah.
They would
down.
You could take the dildo out of the ass, and it could have, and then pop it into a girl's mouth, and they would do come. I've seen the guy come on a girl's puss, and another girl snort it through her nose and spit it out of her mouth into another girl's mouth, and you're just like, cool. Never seen a black girl do that. And I don't know if that's even something you could ask. Like, they just generally didn't want to get thrashed.
Well, didn't that one girl come around the late? But yeah, in general.
I'm talking generalities. Yeah. I don't mean overall. But I had a way with...
Skin Diamond did this kind of stuff,
but then she was, tapped out at a certain point. Right. She was having some panic attacks. Like things got, on my sets, things got rough for her at one point. And at one point, she said I think she didn't want to work with me anymore. And I was one of the guys I was a go-to guy for West Coast. So when the girls didn't want to work for another company or another director, West Coast knew that I could get the girl to play ball because I just had a different way. I didn't have a mean approach. It was just like, hey, listen, I have an opportunity. That's how I talk to people. Listen, there's times in our lives when we can make a little money, and there's times more times that we can't. And right now I have an opportunity for you to make some money if you're interested. It's pretty much what you already do. It's just at this place with this guy, and this is what it would be. And these are the details. And if you're up for it, great. And if you're not, then no hard feelings. But
well, you're not trying to fuck him either. You're trying to make him money. It's a little easier.
That was the thing too. I wanted a reputation. So my point with that other production studio is I learned how what he did looked great for his films, but I saw what it did for his reputation. And I didn't want to be one of those directors that, we got to go see Bishop. You know what that means? I didn't want that. I totally didn't want, let's go see Bishop. That means you have to suck his dick. And some guys, it was like that. He was going to, I didn't want that. Like, I just wanted to, because I'm a black dude too, and so it's a little tougher. The agents don't want to send the girls to me, and half the girls don't do black, and so your pool turns into, and a lot of the black directors did a lot of shady shit. A lot of them played with their money. They fucked up checks. They wrote checks that weren't there. There were money not in the account. There was a lot of, I just want to be clean. I wanted, like, you want to come, you fuck with me, I'm going to pay you what I said, and we're just going to get through. There's nobody, I had one incident with Misty Stone where she got paid less than what we agreed. And it wasn't by a lot. I think I took off $100 because she was hours late, and I was paying for this location that waiting for her to come, and then she gets there, and like I'm like, I told you I was going to charge you for your late, and we had a problem, but that was years ago. We worked out, it was cool, and she understood. I'm like, look, I'm gonna tell you up front, if you're late and I'm paying $150 an hour for this place, and you get there 3 hours or 2 hours later, you're paying for that place. So that's what ended up happening. It was cool. It was cool. She got it, but other than that, I always try to like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do, because I did a lot of work for you, and it meant you have to keep your character has to be, because you're in a sleazy business anyway, and it's a service exchange, so you could actually get the service and run, and there's a lot of shit that I could get robbed going in a lot of times. Like, you have to be careful. So you have to know how to move, and you have to be careful. And so I also thought karma would play a huge role, and I felt like if I just did good and being honest, that shit would come back. So there was times when girls would come to my house and take their clothes off and think that, are we gonna do the hardcore stills? Because there were directors that were saying part of the go-sees are hardcore stills, and they're getting their fuck on, which is cool.
Well, sometimes it locks the girls in to a scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes agents know that, right? So.
Yeah. But I played a different corner.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I played it where, I just prefer to like just keep it straight and narrow. Plus, if I want to get pussy, that wasn't how I wanted it anyway. Yeah. I was a hunter. I like to go and spit game, and I like to get turned down, and I like to be in the mix. Yeah, I like that.
That's cool.
I got off on that. That was my thing, yeah. Like fucking go to the bar in Bangkok and walk out with the bartender. That was a high for me versus all the pussy there available for sale. I'm walking out with the free pussy. Right. Yeah. Mark hated that about me. He couldn't stand that because he would go and he didn't care. And I'm like, cool, good for you. But I do care. I want to not fuck the chick.
It's good for your psyche.
My psyche, yeah.
And your mojo.
Yeah, it felt good, Yeah, shit, I had wings on my back walking around. Like, yeah, I'm going to fucking go to the hotel with him to rent a fucking room, like not an overnight room. We're staying there for a week, and I'm fucking the chick behind the desk. Like, that was cool.
That was
great. I'm on a date with the girl who's selling the rooms. She's not selling pussy.
But Mark is a good-looking guy. Girls,
he's got a good mouth, but he can get.
But he had a hard time sometimes pulling.
Nah, he had a good. Organically, because at the end, for him, it always turned into like, let's fuck for money here.
You have to be careful with your mind.
Yeah, for me, I was cool. I always was able to keep it.
Because you weren't practicing it.
Yeah.
Right? So once you go to the practice, then I think it fucks your head up.
It does. It can, yeah. It could be bad.
It's real dangerous. One-way street with no fucking end.
No end, yeah.
I mean, actually, you go down the street, and then you get locked off. You get blocked. Now you're stuck on that street.
You're stuck, yeah. I always try to keep it clean. When I saw that dude doing that shit, it was dirty, and I was just
that probably was good for you. That's great for you to see it. So you had a little bit of a golden brick road because you got to see what to do, what not to do. Yeah. Right?
That helped.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what actors, because you mostly you were shooting black actors, right?
Correct. Well, with Adam, it was only white. And I did him and it was him and I for years. And then when I got to West Coast, it was only black. And that was a huge change of events because with Adam, like the only black person I knew was like Mr. Marcus. But when I went to West Coast, I didn't know any white cats. It was all black. It was like night and day.
I never shot for Adam when you were there, did I?
No. I saw movies you were in. I saw movies because I did comps for him and we did some other stuff. And so I saw the movies you were in,
yeah. So who was the best actor, do you think, was your best male talent?
Who was the best male talent?
Yeah.
That I thought as a performer?
Yeah.
I thought that it was Prince. I thought Prince was like, when Prince came in the game, there's guys that make you turn your head and change it. But he's arrogant and very, very, maybe I would say well-deserved, but he thinks highly of himself and his talent. But he changed it for me. Actually, before him, I thought it was Slayer because I like Slayer's his movement. I like how he came into the game. I like how he performed. I thought he was a good talent. Yeah. And then I like Fred Mandingo. I like just what he does to the chicks. It's like kind of funny.
Scare him? Huh?
Yeah, he scares the fuck out of him. He pulls out that rod and the chicks just go nuts. I was never really into Lex. I watched some of his stuff before I got into porn. I thought he was really good, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the girls he picks for his movies. I like seeing him with the smaller girls, but I know he likes bigger girls. Yeah. So when he does his own movies, he doesn't use the little 5'4" girl. He uses the Naomi Banks, girl, which is great. But I like to see big dick little chick versus big chick.
Right.
Yeah, it just seems like it's more.
But you got to have big dick for a big chick too.
I think all dicks for all chicks, But I like seeing the little white girl.
It's a bigger contrast.
Yeah, just had the contrast was great. Yeah,
well, that's interesting.
Because to me, growing up, I didn't grow up with Gonzo. I grew up with porno films. Like there was Pussycat theaters still around. Yeah, where you go to a place, pay money to watch a movie in a theater, and it's a porno. Like I was around then. I remember, and I thought the rumor was a lot of porno was fake. It wasn't always real. But when I saw Gonzo, I was like, they're not faking that. That was real. And when I saw Lex in Budapest pull out his dick for red light and bang this chick and she'd fall over the chair and lose her mind, I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, I think Jake Steed brought
I never really saw him.
He brought that big black dicks, little white chicks into circulation.
Yeah.
Heavy, you know what I mean? But anyways, where the hell were you born at? Raised?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Where were you raised?
Hawaii and California. I did a few years in New York, and then we moved to California. And I did a few years in California, and then we moved to Hawaii. I did a few years in Hawaii, like 3. It's like 3. And then we came back to California in 80, 81, and I've been here ever since.
And where did you get your work ethic? How?
Actually just watching people work and seeing what, I've just been a sponge of good product. I see something good, I want to try to recreate it, and I try to recreate all the elements that lead up to it. So if I'm watching a master work, I try to take what I can and I try to add it to my repertoire. And you're one of those people, you've taught me a lot of great things. West Coast James, he's taught me a lot of great things. He said a lot of great things. You've said great things. Those things inspire me. Those things make me make good product or make me make product. I made hundreds of films. I worked for Smash and worked for a ton of people. Didn't learn a lot of places. I learned everywhere, but I picked up more at some places versus others, of course. Usually, if you run a studio and they're not talent and they're producers, but they're not in the field, they're just this guy that's writing checks, going, oh yeah, I've seen that house, I met him, but they're not in the field. It's different. The guys that are talent producers, totally different expectations. They have a whole different work ethic, and they expect a whole different type of ball game. And I've worked for all of them. And I used to think that when I would go to the house, the studio, like when I went to your place and I'd say, hey, you should do it like this, or you should try this. I'm telling you that because I've been to like 8 other studios and I know it works, and I've seen what doesn't work, and I'm just taking like, okay, when the title treatment should look like the box. Take the box title treatment from the box and put it in the video. Don't just let the editor put any old title treatment in the video. Like, why not? You're paid for it. Have that dude flatten that PSD, send it over, and have it put in the movie. Or the music, whatever. There's a bunch of little stupid things that I think are like staples that should be. And I learned, I watched, I'm like, that makes sense. While this other company just said, yeah, just print up. The movie's called Big Booty Blast. Just type up Big Booty Blast. We don't care what color it is. Like, no, you got diamonds on it over there. You put gold around the trim, put that shit in the movie. Mm-hmm. And I watch West Coast make songs. The name of the movie is called Booty Talk, and the girl's rapping and she's saying booty talk. And maybe that was stolen or borrowed. Because at the end of the day, most of the time, a lot of stuff I picked up comes from mainstream too. So I see how they do Spider-Man, and I apply that to porno. I go, they use the title treatment and on the box, and they put it in the movie, and the guy's saying Spider-Man, and that's what they're doing. So
Well, people don't know, but you're mixed with Panamanian.
I'm all Panamanian.
All Panamanian.
Yeah.
So people wouldn't know that. So
yeah.
you got Latin blood in you.
Yes.
You think that helps make your work ethic harder?
Actually, it just helped get me here because in Panama, we're mad hustlers. Like they hustle their ass off. I can tell you some stories in Panama. There's a guy standing in the street, and what he's doing, he's selling you his parking spot. So if you want where he's standing, you pull up and he'll offer you the spot, and you pay him money, he'll give you that spot. His hustle is standing in a spot so that you can buy it from him. And he doesn't even own it. He's just not gonna move until you pay him. And if it's raining, he's got an umbrella, and he'll walk you to the building, and that's his hustle.
Wow.
They walk around with buckets of water to wash cars. That's their hustle. They stand with the cell phone by the payphone, and you call the operator and find out how much the call is going to cost, and they undercut the payphone, and you pay them less. They dial it for you, and you could talk.
So
Yeah,
that's where you got that
that's the
hustle?
Yeah, the public buildings. You can't go in without shoes or shirts. And there's a lady outside by a branch with button-down shirts and shoes that you can rent because everyone's walking around in shorts and slippers. But if you have to go in and get your cellular worked on or your data, some legal documents, you could go put on a shirt from her and walk in and be presentable.
How many hours a week do you think you work?
Now a lot less. Now I spend time with my kids, and that's like the best part of my day. But back in the day, I worked 24 hours a day. Like I work around the clock. I would sleep in my editing chair. Yeah, I would go hard. Yeah. So, I liked it. It did good for me. Like I enjoyed it. Like I would party, but then I always wanted to get back to the money grind. Yeah. You know, I'd kick the girls out Monday morning. I got to move. Let's go. Like that was great. Awesome. She's walking around in a blanket. You want something to eat? I'm hungry. I'm like, get the fuck. Get. And then what do you need? A Greyhound? Like, because I would tell him I can play from Friday night to Sunday, maybe Monday. Monday comes, you may not have shit to do, but I got shit to do. Because I can't sleep. Like I got like 5 deadlines in my head. I have 3 edits due. I'm waiting on the Tyler treatment. I have to call to get the music from. Like all this shit's going on, and I know all these parts make a whole picture, and I have to put this picture together, and I need all these parts in my head, and nothing's written down. It's all like, I know who I gotta call when they have to deliver it, and what hard drive it goes on, because the editor has to put it together with that. And sometimes like people call me and they'll ask me something, and we'll be talking to clients for months or weeks or whatever, and I'll say, get it on digital, and they'll be like, that's you. I'm like, yeah, that was my company. It's on 1 million tapes all over the world. And so they go, oh yeah, I watched your stuff. Yeah.
What have you seen change in the business since when you first started to now?
Pretty much the fall of quality production. When I say quality, I don't know if I can even say quality. Maybe just the way production is done is just it's changed. They're not doing 5-scene movies. They're just doing scenes now, which is totally different. I've seen where the producers and the production actually gets paid less money, but the talent still gets paid the same. Like the females get their money, the agents get their money, but I've seen where the males get less. They don't get the same amount. I've seen that decline. I've seen the production put into the artist's hands greater, like the music industry. Now you can record a song and make a music video and put it on YouTube. Right now, we can just make a song and post it. In 30 minutes, we can do that. Yeah. That was never the case before. You needed a distributor. So that goes into the answer to your question, where I've seen the talent. Now, what are you doing Friday? Oh, nothing. You want to come over and shoot content? Yeah, let's do it. And they shoot scenes and they post it. They don't need Wicked, or they could fuck in the back of their car and post it, and they do. Yeah. And they get paid. And there's a lot of sites now where you pay per click, and they make their own money. They don't need to be on a DVD or on anybody's movie. They can just make movies at home.
And that, because you had this beautiful ride, right? It was a beautiful ride into the
correct, yeah.
Oz, right? I would call it sometimes this is what I really call it, Pinocchio land. What do they call that? Dream, Pleasure of the World or Pleasure Island, where Pinocchio's stuck.
Yeah.
So you get to venture in there, right? And now you got to leave, right? Because things have changed. Yeah. Right? How do you feel about that change?
I'm not happy with it. I felt like I didn't make enough attempts to be a owner. I did. I have a series out there that it got robbed by the distributor. Like it's like they're supposed to. I thought they would steal it, and they did. And I'm working on that right now. But I think owning more content would have been the better picture for me. I think I'm creative enough. I just think I didn't take the step out there. I I didn't when I did it, it worked. The movies made a lot of money. They were great, but I didn't. I couldn't keep going. They were the company that was buying, that was distributing, wasn't paying me when I was delivering, and they would always hold me out. So they would give me money to go, here, go shoot this for us. I'm like, where's my check for what I delivered? And they're like, well, we don't have that yet. And I'm like, I need that because I have to go shoot number 5 and 6. And they're like, well, we're waiting, and then things do what they do. But
yes.
But that's it's shitty. But that's you know.
And it's just, you can't get it back. You know, this time that you've had in the business, you know, a beautiful time, right? A lot of great time. It's like the piece of history. And this is how I see it, right? The piece of history is behind us now that will never come again, I don't think. Yeah. People's mentality are much different, right?
Correct.
The talent has a much different mentality.
Correct. Yeah.
They don't really care about the work, or I hear these ideas that they're very hardcore prostitute mentality. Do you hear that?
No.
No?
But I can see that. I can imagine it. I know a lot of the guys in the business now, Slim Pope, cats like that. And I know of them. I don't know them. And I'm a little bit of distance from that whole situation. And it feels weird. I'll go to an event or a hangout, and they'll always say, hey, there's Bishop. You know, like there'll be a few people like, yo, that dude right there. But I don't know them, and they don't know me. And so like, there's a new train, there's new directors. I met a lot of new directors, not new kids, walking around with the girls, shooting. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing their thing. But we're out. It's like watching old boxers, watching new boxers, or talk about new boxers. Like the whole fight coming up with fucking
on Saturday?
Yeah. It's like when you watch Tyson
Usman versus
who's the heavyweight dude?
No, that was last 2 weeks ago.
Ruiz
versus Joshua.
Joshua, yes, thank you. That fight coming up.
When is that? Is that on this Saturday or the next Saturday?
I think it's this Saturday.
Okay. Who's gonna win?
Ruiz.
Joshua versus Ruiz.
Yeah,
Joshua's a beast looking. He looks amazing.
Yeah, but I think Ruiz has his card. I think certain people just match up a certain way. And when I watch some of the highlights of that fight, I think he's just gonna always be able to tag him. Unless he changes up his style, I think Joshua's
pretty rough, pretty hard to do.
It's not hard, it's not impossible. Ali did it.
No, it was pretty hard to change your style.
Yeah, but it's not impossible. I've seen fighters do it. I've seen fighters talk about it.
Not very often.
No.
Rarely.
Because
off a knockout's very rare.
Yeah, but
knockouts. And a beating, and it's a war. Yeah. It's a beating, but you know, the guy Joshua has the size, the strength, and all that. But yeah, let's see.
But I think Ruiz has got his number.
Maybe
he's got him.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he's a tough guy too. You can't take away from that guy. That guy's a nasty guy to fight, right? Ruiz.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Yeah, but can you describe in 2 words your experience in the business, which has been how long?
It's been like 21, 22 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
You know? So can you describe in 2 words your experience in the adult business?
Can I use 3 words? No, just 2.
Be creative.
Wonderful and amazing. Yeah, it's been good. I've got to, I owned a $1 million house. I drove great cars. I ate awesome foods. I went to Bangkok for the weekend, like for fun, for the Sokran, just for the New Year. I will go to New York to go to a birthday party or go drink, and I've bought things for my mother. I've sent her on trips. I had a good time, and what I love about it more than anything is because I was independent, and I got to do what I wanted to do. So there was never production that I had to do. I was never like an employee where someone's like, "Hey, we're gonna do these whatever MILFs," and I was like, "I hate old women. I like it. Let's do it. How do you want it to look?" And what I was trying to say earlier is that West Coast was the company that gave me the opportunity. I was trying to explain, I did the thing for Black Ice and they didn't like it in West Coast. And after that, after West Coast said, how much would it cost to finish this? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, will 20 get you going? And I go, yeah, that'd be fine. And I went home with a check for $20,000. And I'd been paid that a lot of times for other productions and what have you. But after I did that movie for them, it wasn't important for me to go, can you do Booty Talk number 8? Like, they were like, hey, what's going on in your head? What do you think would make a good movie? Like, and that was like night and day. And I'll never forget that. Like, all these companies were hiring me to do number 3 of a series that someone else created. So if Vernell did White Chicks and Black Magic Sticks, I had to figure out watch his 1 through 8 or 1 through 15 roughly, and then go, okay, I can replicate that. And here's what I got to do. So first the guy comes in, and then the girl does this, and that's it. We do this tease and da-da-da. After Ransom, it was like, I still did that other work, but it was like, yo, what do you got else? What else you got? And I'm all, I want to do this movie about this and that. And he's all, he was excited. He wanted to know. I was doing dinners with him. He was like, yo, okay. They spun off a division called After Dark Pictures. That was me. So he had all these other directors, except I was doing these stories for him. I did Fatally Obsessed, which was like Fatal Attraction. Naomi Banks was following The Rock or Prince, and he was a ball player, and I was doing, that kind of shit where I'm shooting in restaurants and real locations, and I did a Scary Movie, which was like, and they weren't parodies. I try to make a distinction. I don't do parodies. I don't think I've ever done a parody. That wasn't my thing. I didn't want to copycat and make fun. I do my own thing, and it was sometimes based off of something else, but it wasn't like I didn't do a parody. I just made my own movie, and I did starting Wicked caught on, and they were like, "Hey, can you do something for us?" And I was doing stories. So I was After Dark Pictures for West Coast. So if you look up West Coast Productions, some of their titles are under After Dark Pictures, and those are mine. That was some elite, the premium
label
titles of
gold label.
If you will.
So,
And,
well, I heard Pumper was on. He said that James was pretty good to him. So I heard James is pretty nice to some people.
No, James was nice to pretty much everyone. I don't think there was anyone he wasn't nice to. Yeah. But I think people sometimes they took the money and didn't deliver. Like there was guys that like, here's 40 grand. You go to Brazil and you're supposed to come back with 40 scenes. And he wouldn't give you all of it, but he'd give you enough. Like for me, I always broke my shit up into thirds. Some guys took it in halves. So they wouldn't come back. I remember one particular guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but he took some money from West Coast. I don't know where he went. I don't remember the country, but he went somewhere and he shot. Then he came back. He made copies of the tapes. He delayed his delivery to West Coast while he was editing the scenes. He put them out and then went and finally gave his delivery to West Coast, knowing that West Coast had to review the tapes, post-production, and then so that guy put the movie out, and then come to find out those same scenes, exact scenes, no, not that much different. He just sold them to West Coast after he'd already put them out, which was dirty. But it's stuff like that. And then there's another situation when a guy goes out of the country. This director goes out of the country. He's responsible for, so when you're the director, you're responsible for all the talent, all the girls, all the money, people's eating, per diems. Like you are the god. Like you decide who eats, when they eat, and when's break time, and who you're fucking, when you're fucking, where you're fucking, like all this shit, how you're fucking. So he goes over there and I don't know, halfway through the production, he just disappears and he keeps the other half of the money. So everyone goes back home. He stays in this country and he stays there. He comes back eventually.
South America? Or?
No, it was Prague. But he goes over there and he just doesn't come back and he keeps the guy's money.
Keeps James' money?
Yeah.
How much you talking, you think?
I think $15,000, $20,000. It's a good chunk of change. There's another guy who was told not to put money, you can't travel with over 10K. We all know that. So he did. He got caught, and they took the money. And you have to go through a lot of shit to get the money back. I traveled with 40K at some times, but I know how to place it and how to hide it. You have to. Yeah. You have to. Sometimes, you get fucked if you don't. But yeah.
would you change anything about the business before and after?
No, just I wouldn't change anything. Maybe how much the girls get paid.
You want to get more or less?
Fucking less. I felt like that was
Look
some
at
of
the pimp is coming out.
Yeah, here we go, baby. Listen, you don't need that right there. So I felt that I don't feel like that was a demise. Like I felt like a lot of smaller productions got shut down because of the cost of the girls. I felt some of the girls, the rates were crazy. And the girls, they didn't care and they didn't need it as much. So their rates just stayed. When everyone else took a shot in the pocket, they stayed straight across the board. And I thought that if we were to be unified as a whole, everybody would need to take a dip. When budgets got smaller, you remember the budgets used to give out? And then when they started dwindling. But the girls were always the biggest expense. Yeah. And sometimes they delivered and it was well worth it. Yeah. And sometimes they didn't. But I'll go on the record and say, yeah, I thought some of the budgets for you chicks was a lot. I don't give a fuck. I thought it was too much. I thought so. I didn't care.
Well,
you're gonna get a lot of thumbs down. Some people think they need more. Some people think they're worth more. I think some were, and I thought some weren't. This is the nature of it. But I thought overall, when we all were taking a bath, we should all kind of taken a little bit of a bath. I thought we all didn't. I think when I'm producing something, if I have to cut something somewhere, I try to trim the thing that I need the least to eliminate it.
But you need to grow the most.
Yeah, but if I can't do that, I take a little bit off of everything. And that was the one place I could never cut. Yeah. I never wanted to go to the girl. But the guy could be like, hey, and then I got smart and I'm like, I'm paying $800. Like, this is what, and with me, the thing was, it was an all-day affair because I was doing stories. Like, it was, you weren't going to just show up and bang and walk out. And the banging was important to me, but I really needed you to deliver the other part. Because I always felt like, to be honest with the porno, I thought if the guy just got his dick in a couple times, I didn't need to see him do a lot. For me, if you built the story up where, let's say that's his babysitter, it's not even supposed to be, these conversations aren't supposed to be had. Like, it's erotic just being in that zone. Yeah. He gets her to take her bra off or whatever. Like, he's not supposed to be doing that. And that's a high fence to climb already. But if he starts fucking her and she turns into a porn star halfway, like you won't even put, I'm not going to put that thing in my mouth. Yeah, do it. Like this. You're like, yeah, cut.
I don't see much, what's between me and you? I never saw much value in the deep throating. I mean, I never said, oh, that gets me so excited. When a girl does a nice job and she's pretty and it's nice. Yeah, it goes down so you get the whole feeling, you know what I mean? Yeah. But not, I'm not, I was like.
You seen him spit up and throw up. And that was a big thing. That was like a big thing.
Well, it was before, because I was around before you know what I mean? Gina Fine was one of the only girls that could deep throat. Yeah. Right, way back. You ever heard of Gina Fine? Right? Anyways, so she could do, like, for some reason, she could deep throat almost anybody. Like Linda Lovelace almost, right? Except I don't think Linda Lovelace had big monster dicks running around. But I think that Shawn Michaels was deep throated by Gina Fine. Shawn Michaels was pretty big, Anyways, so people, I never saw the great value, but hey, I'm not one to judge. I judge you not, let you be judged.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So to everybody that likes good sex, that's why we're here. We're here right now, the porn puzzle, to let everybody know how it was done, when and how it was done through time. Yeah. So I have to say thank you, Bishop, for taking this much time.
Well, I'm here for the check.
Yeah.
I'm hustling all the way.
You ain't getting paid.
See how the white people are?
I appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for having me out. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm glad to tell my story. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Was it fun? Was it cool?
It was great. Yeah. TT's awesome. I'll do it. Whatever you lead, I'll follow. You're a good dude.
Thank you.
Good dude.
TTBoy TV, we out.
TTBoy TV.